Okay, if I will, it's a little late, but we will go ahead and start. We were waiting on some other people, but I will now call this meeting to order of the Avery Mitchell Yancey Regional Library Board. And it is 5:40, basically we're about 10 minutes late, but with the appetites we have, we're lucky to get started now. So, anyway, yeah, I was gonna get that. Yeah. There's a couple of things that we've got to get straight here. And I have called the meeting to order, but before we introduce ourselves, kind of in a roll call, I would sincerely like to thank each and every one of you all for being here, for your interest in the library and the Regional Library Board. Your support is very much appreciated. And the purpose of this meeting also, and y'all get up and leave, and I won't say that, this is pretty much the full library staff. All these people are part of the library staff. And, well, I won't say that. I won't say anything about being underpaid and underappreciated. But anyway, what we're here for tonight is to reflect on last year, what all went on last year, and maybe some of our plans for the future and whatnot. We do appreciate this community interest. We will, if you want to say anything, I mean, I think it will be fine, but if you all will please respect us, respect the board, and be quiet during our time. There will be a public comment period after the meeting, or at the end of the meeting, which you all certainly, the ones who have signed up here, we have 6 that will certainly be asked to do that. And one other thing, we do ask that you not be abusive, threatening, or obscene line. I don't see anybody in here, I hope, that would, but we need to be respectful of each other's and each other's views, so let's keep that in mind. And if you can't behave, we will ask you to exit, please. Don't know how, but the next thing is a roll call, and instead of sitting here calling roll, I think I'll start over here with Clayton Roberts and let him introduce himself and to the library he represents. Go ahead, Clay.
My name is Clayton Roberts. I am the Metro County Commissioner, as well as sitting on the regional board. So I represent Metro County and Metro County Library System.
I'm Steve Rowland. I am the chair of the Mitchell County Library Board. I have a business in the Bakersville area, and at present, I'm also the interim chair of the Mitchell County Friends of the Library. And we are trying to find some officers to take on some roles as secretary, treasurer, and as president of the Friends of the Library there. So it's getting up and going. We've got new membership, but so far we need some leadership.
I'm Luther Strout. I'm the board chairman. I represent Spruce Pine Public Library. And that's enough. And Amber needs no introduction.
No, but just in case, I'm Amber Westall Briggs, and I'm the regional library director for the system, and I'll try to speak up tonight because I'm wearing that.
Hi, I'm Frank Pat Hughes, public school teacher, and I serve on the regional board for Amy and on the Avery County Library Board as well. Thank you, everybody.
I'm Josh Smith, on those boards.
I'm Margaret Teal. I serve on the Avery board and obviously the regional one as well, and I work at Grandfather Mountain.
Good enough. Going on now, I need to ask if we could please, the board members, before we approve the agenda, which is next on this, we need to amend the agenda under the underline of unfinished business. Okay. I've been whispered to. Our recording secretary is not here, so I need someone who would keep minutes for us, please. Anybody?
I'm left-handed.
Did I take that as I will do this, yes, if I get a pen, you can do it left-handed? Let,
All right, Frank's gonna do it.
No, I can't. I've got hers already.
Frank's doing it.
Sure, all right. Yeah, no problem.
who's gonna?
I'll do it.
Okay, let the minutes reflect that our recording secretary is not here, and that Frank Hughes will, set in. And I know you probably, since you're doing it, you need to allow the minutes to reflect the agenda items. They don't necessarily need to reflect comment from anyone else. And we also need to make sure we have a director's report in the minutes. They have been left out for the last couple of minutes, and that needs to be in there. So now then, we need to insert before we approve the agenda, we need under unfinished business we have to edit the policy of social media guidelines. There's just some wordage that I understand that our lawyer has told us needs to be included in that, and we need to discuss that. So if I can have a motion to put that in unfinished business.
So moved.
Second. Okay, we got Roland and Clayton. So now then, if I'm following, we need to approve the agenda as so called for. Motion from Josh.
Second.
Second from Mark. Thank you, Margaret. Do we have the minutes from the last meeting?
You do, they're in your packet.
Okay, they're in your packet, which has been so graciously put together. our director, if I can find him.
I know it was you and staff. All these good people over here.
Well, then. Okay, you got one. I think they left that out of mine.
No, it's right here. You don't want me to touch it?
Masks are welcome, I do it. Amber has been sick lately, and I appreciate her thinking of our safety and her masking up. If y'all will, please take a look at the minutes and we will, I will.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a provision for the minutes. My last name is misspelled on it.
Do what's that?
My last name is misspelled in the minutes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry for that.
Okay.
Yes, we did. Badly mistaken.
And mine also.
Okay.
There's a W in there.
And mine also.
All right.
So that, we have three. We have three misspelled. But we will take anything else, any other comments on that? If not, I would, ask for a motion that we accept these.
Second.
Okay. We got that. All in favor of doing the minutes? Approving the minutes? I forgot to get us to vote on it. I probably forgot to approve the agenda, first and second. We all did approve it. Now then, moving right along is the fun part of our meeting, which is the financial report.
Yeah, it actually is fun.
And we are still, I'm let Amber have a time, but we are still in search of a financial officer for this. We had one, and, I don't know how long it worked, but they found another job. And so we're back in search for one. Let Amber speak to that. Thank you.
Oh, sure. So yes, I've lost my agenda, I don't know. Did you steal my agenda by chance?
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Probably.
Okay, so first off, and can you hear me okay? All right, so just to let you know, as far as finding a central finance officer and office manager, that has been a long process. You'll actually see in the budget how much money we've spent on advertising. We've also went through interviews as well. We did select someone who we felt would be an excellent addition to the team, but that person accepted another job, and I can't fault them for that because it was a great opportunity, but we will have to begin advertising again. Just to clarify that the last finance officer, he did a lot of the management aspect of the office that really I do in my job as director. We work very closely together. So this position that we are looking for is a part-time position. It is not for a full-time finance officer. And that is very common with regional library systems or library systems in general. And now that I have done it myself and am doing it while I also have another job, I can tell you that that is the right decision. So, I also just turned in everything to our middleman accountant before it goes to the auditor. So just know we're in the process of going through the audit steps as well. So I'll let you all turn your attention to the amended budget for the 23-24 fiscal year. And you can ask me questions, board members, while I'm going through it, and I'm definitely prepared to answer them. So first, I also should preface this with, I broke the budget down into a way that the state library actually prefers. So usually we used to include grants along with our general budget, and I have separated the grants out from the regular budget so that they get that as well. Whenever we apply for state aid, it will help that process. So just gets slow. So first off, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put this on the screen. Just give me one quick second. Wayne, come here. I could have called anyone, but I don't know why you were.
We have to go to our region, we have to go to our librarians for help.
That's right.
And I hope you all do too, hopefully. I know you all use the library.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Hey, Wayne.
I really hope we don't lose you.
For those who don't know, that is Wayne from the Yancey County Library.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, that's a good example of how we all work as a team, but I want you to be able to see the budget as I work through it, because I've tried to be as transparent as possible. And do not be afraid to ask questions, board members, but it will extend our stay. I want you to see, that in our revenues, we had a carryover of 93,143. That carryover, that general carryover, is state aid carryover. We usually like it to be between 8 to 12, 13%. So some years it's been easier to do than others. The North Carolina state aid for public libraries for 23-24 was $369,833. And remember, just as a reminder to those who know that we have multiple budgets, this is only state. This is only what the regional library has. So our North Carolina sales tax refund was $10,788. Because we are a quasi-government, nonprofit government, we do get that sales tax refund back. The miscellaneous income, $1,265, and that can be anything from refunds from book, where we buy books from, and I will take a lot of grants, so I'm sorry. So that will be from anything from refunds to a few donations, those type of things for the entire year, which gives us a total revenue of $475,029. That does not include the grants. So that does not include the non-recurring increase, the digital inclusion grant, or our Story Trail grant too, which is a part of this, even though it's in Spruce Pine. So the disbursements, The salary for the regional library director, $54,100. You can see the regional office manager is at $19,215 because he only worked 5 months. The regional children's librarian, you can see that one as well. And the regional outreach librarian, that is the portion of outreach. The individual counties, they pay for bookmobile. They pay their portion of bookmobile. So that would be on their individual budgets. The regional special projects librarian, that was Mr. James Bird, and he is actually in a facility right now. He's doing really well. He's still writing stories about the library, and we love him dearly. He has been very interested in this whole process as well. So, and by that I mean the withdrawal reviews. Regional administrative assistant, because we had extra funds, we were able to employ someone part-time at the regional office, and that is Joy, and she's right there. So, and she's able to work at the regional office as an assistant. You should know that before we were cut by state funds, which we were for 10 plus years, and before my time it was worse. So we actually, when our regional assistant and cataloger retired after almost 40 years in the system, we did not replace that person because funding was tight. So if you look at library materials, oh sorry, I skipped one. The regional assistant finance officer, that is the middle person I was talking about, who is the accountant who takes the information I give him, checks through it, and then that goes to the auditor. He is paid monthly, a portion of that, and that total is $6,064. So library materials, the regional library spent $39,809 on regional library materials. So that means any of the books, materials you enjoyed at each of your libraries, those were purchased with regional state aid funds. If they were not, they can sometimes come from donations. The public gives donations in money for us to purchase books. We also have grants as well. Do I need to roll that? I will. So under library materials, you'll also see where we spent a lot of funding this past year. We don't generally spend that much funding, and that is on special programs, $24,548. And if you want to know any of what that special programming is, I have that documentation as well. It's all broken down. A lot of it goes to summer reading. A lot of it goes to author visits. Some of it goes to soup nights we had here at Avery that you'll hear about, or Spanish language club at Nancy, or readers who run at Spruce Pine, or our bibliography workshop we have at Mitchell County Library. You'll hear about all that. I won't take their thunder. So that's for special programming. Children and youth services, we actually are very under budget, and that's because that I incorporated it into special programming rather than, usually we budget that at $2,000. And that's a new thing that we've done. So general tech support is at $4,926. General tech software support, $8,832. When you see software support, you see the software that runs behind the scenes. So using Chrome, for instance, for all of our accounts, that's one way. I also believe that the CFO, he also put in what we pay for Cardinal, our portion, which is just a little over $1,000 for us. That's what the region pays, and each library pays that as well. So that is included in there as well. So automation, technical support, and license. Oh, sorry, I skipped several things. You're gonna have to go with me. So general tech software support, library supplies, $8,513. That is higher than we budgeted. Copy machine supplies, I just incorporated copy machine supplies into library supplies, there's no need to flesh it out into its own line item, so you won't see it on the next budget. Telephone and postage, $3,712. That includes our telephone bill, postage, and then the amount we pay for our PO box. Underneath that, we have internet service, which many I think will be surprised that it is at $2,171. Remember, that's just for the regional office. And also understand that we just received our E-rate funding back. That means that as a regional system, much like schools, we only have to pay a portion of our internet. So we only have to pay like 20%. So this will be refunded back into play. Advertising, this is where we definitely went over budget because we don't usually have advertising as a line item. It's $2,571, and that is primarily advertising for the finance officer as well as the two vacancies we have at the other two libraries. Automation, technical support, and license is where you'll see nothing, and that's because that the CFO, he had used our other grants to take out our Cardinal as well as other automation that we paid for. So just to explain that too, we don't only have Cardinal. Cardinal is not our only automated thing. We also have ebooks and audiobooks that come from Libby that many of you may use on your phones. That is called Overdrive. We also have to pay an automation for Overdrive, and we pay each a portion of that as well. That's one. Well, two, counting Cardinal. We also have what's called Beanstack, which we're looking at removing that, which is automation for keeping track of children reading during summer reading. We also have ProQuest, which we pay an amount for that so that we have ancestry access in the libraries so that people can research families. I'm just trying to give you an overall perspective of there are other automation pieces that we pay for besides the Cardinal when we split the cost across the region. So we are at utilities and maintenance, which we were under budget by just a little bit, $5,715. Health insurance for regional employees was under budget as well, but that's because we didn't have the CFO, so we weren't paying that portion of his health insurance. Workers' comp insurance was $438. You also see our bond insurance, regional office bond insurance, $9,400. Retirement benefits were $18,711. Social security benefits, $10,472. Again, those were both under budget because of losing the CFO. Unemployment insurance was at $600. Bookmobile operation was below budget, $6,243. Outreach van operation was well below budget, $529. We generally budget that at about $2,000. So our new hybrid vehicle is doing very well. Yeah, and it's new. That's right. Okay, so travel, $5,989. I was actually surprised that we were under budget on this as well. Staff development and new employee fees, we were definitely over budget because we had this extra funding, and we wanted to make sure that we had more staff development opportunities, as well as our monthly branch meetings, which I would say all of our staff absolutely love because it gives us a time to reconnect across the region and be on the same page as far as the resources we share. So, along with staff development are new employee fees, such as background checks, that type of thing. CPA and professional services, this pays for our audit as well as tax assistance. We also have a few professional services in there related to banking. So that is $15,400. Capital outlay was $557, and there was nothing in the contingency reserve. It was a total of $350,315 for the regional budget. So there you are, that's the regional budget from 22 to 23. Do you have any questions, board members? I know that was a lot.
Going once, going twice. If not, then we need a motion to accept this, a second, and then a vote. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this? If not, then I would ask that we vote for it, all in favor of the budget as it was presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next we have on that is the new 24-25 budget.
Before we move to the 24-25 budget, Luther, I'm gonna go through the grants that we had in 23-24. Those do not require a vote, but it is for your information. So we have a digital inclusion grant. The beginning, if you can see that, I'm sorry, it's small. That's better. So we have a digital inclusion grant, which is through the Dogwood Health Trust as well as the High Country Council of Government. And we now have a beginning balance of $225,000. We received our second check. It came in 2 different checks. That's the total that we will receive. The disbursements we've had so far are only $20,749.72. So the remainder, as you can see, is $204,250.28. And that meant when we received this grant that we could hire Jennifer Soren, who is our digital literacy librarian, and her salary comes out of this grant, and we'll hear from her a little bit later. So far, we're just getting started. We expect to spend a lot more. So, it was actually a 2-year grant, but because I guess it took us about 6 months to go through the hiring process, which Luther was a part of as well. And so they have told us we also can have an extension. So it should end in June 2025, but we can extend it if we want. I think that's correct, isn't it, Jennifer? And on that front too, Jennifer actually just applied for another Dogwood Health Trust grant in relation to digital literacy. She may mention that too. We've also been approved by another grant that the COG wrote that the state library also announced on their website and an email that Amy is a part of that grant from High Country COG. So we don't know what we will get with that, but it's exciting. So that's the digital inclusion grant. If you want to know what Khajiit is, that's hotspots. Those are what people check out at their local libraries. The next grant I want to show you is the non-recurring grant. Let's see if I open the right one. Yes, excellent. Okay. So during COVID, as you probably know, a lot of nonprofits and governments received COVID funding. But during that time, they also gave us grants late. COVID was kind of halfway over, and then they gave us the grants. When we were supposed to get them was 2019-20, and we got the grants in like 21-22. So when that happened, we'd already kind of got a handle on COVID, but we still had the funding. This funding has to be spent by 2025. We are almost through it already. So this just shows 23, 24. So these are what we purchased it. You can see the staff bonuses. This is a 5% bonus for all staff in the regional system. Most libraries that received a non-recurring grant, they did grants such as that, they did bonuses such as that because during COVID, the expectation is that you had staff that were working in a front-facing environment that was not necessarily a great place to work. And so the idea is that we can't increase their salaries, but we can give them a bonus. You'll also see some authors there like Ashley English and Kashawn Darby. Lion and Mouse Productions was from Summer Reading. Crystal Good was a poet in residence who worked with high school students on writing poetry. Jules Courier, Dylan Wilson, and Nick Graff are part of a program called Our Mountain Speaks. It's an oral history project. They're beginning it in Yancey and then spreading to Mitchell and Avery. They've already recorded 12 different stories. I won't go on and on about it, but it's absolutely phenomenal. She is a historiographer, and it's going to be great. He's had a little bit of a snag with a couple of people in the community who they don't necessarily know if they want to be recorded or not, so we're working through that. Surefire Entertainment, B-Rad Magician, and May Wildlife are all summer reading programs that happen at all of our libraries during the summer. So our total disbursements for 23-24 were $49,003.29. Our remaining grant, and I missed that one. Now I'm tired. Okay. So the remaining amount is $30,819. I have news to report regarding the non-recurring funds. We will be receiving more non-recurring funds because now the state has rebudgeted, realizes they have more money. So we don't know when that will come through, but we should receive an increase somewhere in between $30,000 to $40,000 for that non-recurring grant. So that's great. So just wanted to let you know that. Yes. So, and the last one is very quick and easy, and that is the Story Trail budget, which is very small. And I just want you to see this because the Story Trail that we have in Spruce Pine, which we hope to replicate in all of our counties, it was funded by state grant funds. So that's why it stays in Amy, and let me rephrase that. Not all of it was purchased with state funds. The audio component piece of it was purchased with LSTA grant funds, which are federal. And so we keep the Story Trail donations as a part of Amy Regional Library's budget, even though they go to the Story Trail. So what you see here on disbursements are the books that we purchase that we install on the Story Trail. So we have plans to have a butterfly garden with this remaining balance that will be at Riverside Park. And so that's really good news for Spruce Pine as well. And that is it for the 3 grants. So Luther, I can now move on to the 24-25 regional budget.
Thank you.
And I'll be quicker. Let's see. Okay. Here you are. Our carryover from 23-24 is $124,714. The North Carolina State Aid Grant for Public Libraries, the expectation is $369,828. Now, I have to say that could potentially change. And the reason why that could change is because we've only been guaranteed that amount, which comes monthly, from July through November. And that is because I have to apply for state aid in the next couple of weeks. And they have to match our MOE, which shows what we spend over the past 3 years from each county and town government. They match that, those block grants that they give us. So if a county doesn't fund us at the amount they generally do, then that amount could go down. Okay? But this is the expectation, and it was sent in a memorandum from the state library. The expectation for the sales tax refund is $2,000, and I'm sorry that that cannot be more. Generally, we have a guy who does the sales tax piece for us, but he no longer wants to continue doing that. I'm not certain that I'm going to have the wherewithal to go through all purchases in sales tax, but I will do my best. So I am putting an expectation of $2,000. Miscellaneous income, we generally put at $1,500. The regional library is not, it doesn't make money. We don't have people who come in and give donations and want to support their library generally, unless it's to the bookmobile or outreach. Generally, just wait. So the expected total is $498,042. This is the largest regional budget we've seen in, so fantastic that we have a regional budget that is that large to support our regional library system. So the disbursements from what we're looking at is you'll see the regional library director, the regional office manager. Remember, this one is not filled yet. Can everyone see this, or does it need to be larger? Larger? Better? Yes. Okay. So for the board, the library director, the children's librarian, the outreach librarian, and the administrative assistant, we are requesting a 5% raise that takes into account the past 2 years. We did give a standard of living raise last year to all employees at the regional office except myself. And so we would like to, based on what we're looking at, a 5% raise seems comparable. I need to also remind you that at the county and town level, we asked for close to 10% raises for employees. So, also in addition to this new budget, you see the regional office manager at $22,500, and that is for a part-time position. You see the regional young adult librarian, which is a new addition. We would like to hire and have wanted to hire a young adult librarian at the regional level for a very long time. And that is because it is very challenging for staff at local libraries to provide young adult services if they're working at the reference desk and doing everything else they do in the library. So to have someone at the regional level, who, yes, they would have benefits as well, they would be going out to each of our libraries and providing young adult services. So that's a very exciting thing and something we've waited on for a while. A piece that you won't see in this is I have been so excited about the possibility of having a full-time assistant, but that's just not gonna happen with this budget yet because I don't have sustainability in knowing if we are going to be Amy or if we are going to be AM Regional Library. So you'll see the young adult librarian, and you also see the regional STEM coordinator, which is a temporary position for only this year. The STEM coordinator would be doing activities during the day that are related only to STEM activities, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We also have our regional administrative assistant still there. The regional assistant's finance officer, which is the middleman I was telling you about before it goes to the auditor, he basically transitions everything into Excel. Most of what he received from me was already in Excel because that's what I use. Our previous CFO did everything by hand. He was the most meticulous man you will ever meet. He was brilliant at that, but we have to transition into a software program, and so we no longer need this person. So that's why you see that. And he's very happy with not continuing, by the way. So for library materials, we have it at $70,000, which is significant. We have never had library materials at a $70,000 amount. So, yeah, it's a really big deal. So we're really excited. It means continuation. It means going back to good grief, the late 80s, early 90s, when we had a regular budget, and it meant that the librarians purchased books every month, regularly. That's just what we did. So going back to that type of scenario is really fantastic. Special programming is at $25,000. Children youth services I put at $10,000. General tech support is at $10,000, like it generally is. General tech software support is at $10,000. Library supplies is at $12,000. That is, we had went over budget on the previous budget, so I was trying to increase that a little bit. Again, copy machine supplies are in those library supplies, so you will not see that on the budget again, that line item. Telephone and postage is at $4,000. And internet service is at $200, and that's because of that E-rate, which is fantastic, that public institutions can use that. Just on a federal level, E-rate should be changing some of their guidelines to where public libraries may be able to have cameras covered in that as well, security cameras marketing and advertising. It would be nice to spend a bit more money on our marketing aspect. Utilities and maintenance is at $6,800, which is the same as it was the year previous. Health insurance for regional employees, $60,000, and that is an increase because if we hire a young adult librarian, we would have health insurance benefits as well. Workers' comp insurance at $800. The bond insurance, regional office contents, bookmobile and outreach van insurance at $12,000. We don't expect much of a change. Retirement benefits at $20,000. Social security benefits $14,000. Unemployment insurance around $600. Bookmobile operation, we are still keeping at $7,000, even though we were under budget. You never know when something might go wrong with the bookmobile. So, outreach van operation is at $2,138. Travel is at $7,000. We were under budget, but this is what we usually use for travel. Staff development and new employee fees, I have increased that to $13,000. CPA and professional services at $15,000. If you look at the previous budget, it was just over $14,000. Capital outlay, I put at $5,000. There is some required maintenance to regional office building. Contingency reserve, I thought about it. So, and the reason why I say that is because, and not to be funny, but, a contingency reserve is in case something happens, a contingent on whatever comes to be. The reality is that if we have to spend a lot of time as well as hiring someone to do inventory at Yankee County Library, if they do indeed withdraw, I thought at first that I could put funding in there to help along that process, but then I rethought it and thought, why would the regional system have to pay our money for doing that process? So I did not put that contingency reserve, and I want to be very transparent with the board and telling everyone else that. So you can of course disagree with me, but so that gives a total of $498,042. So ask me anything you would like. Remember, we start out, just for those who know, we start out at a zero balance budget and move forward from that. And again, to tell you, this is the first time we have had this much funding from a regional system since prior to Dan Barron's time. So it's a big deal.
I would entertain any discussion with the board or comments from the board. This is an ambitious budget that pushes our library, our regional library, into a wonderful opportunity. Any other comments or questions?
I have a question about the carryover. You had said that you like to have about 12%
Yes.
for carryover.
Yes.
So that we stick to this whole budget for 24-25, there's no carryover.
No.
So as it anticipated, we'll just be under budget about 12%.
Yes, we have to make it be a zero budget. That's how we start out.
Okay.
But I'm so glad that you asked that, Margaret, because I have new information to share with you. That while we have this increase in state aid funds, we cannot carry over more than 17% anymore. It is a new rule that begins in this fiscal year, 24-25. It means that with our regional state aid funds, they cannot be more than 17%. So, and as you look at that, if you would look at last year's 23-24, I think our carryover was just over 36%. So just giving you a perspective of how that will change.
So you'd have to send money back.
If that,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So that's a new rule.
Okay.
Get more money, get new rules. So, yeah, thank you for that question. All right, anybody else?
If there are no further questions, I will just do a little arithmetic thing. I would entertain a motion to approve, and this is your budget, I'm sure y'all understand that. This is our budget for the next year. There's new stuff, some good stuff. And so I would at this time entertain a motion that we approve this budget with all its ins and outs.
So moved.
We got a so moved from Clayton Roberts. I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second from Steve Rowland. Any discussion further? If not, then I would ask the board by voice vote your approval, please. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The budget, you have a new budget for our library. Moving right along, we're now entering into reports from libraries and regional service. And this is where we need to hear what we all been doing this year anyhow. So we will just take them, they are listed here, no particular order, I don't think, well, it might be an alphabetical order. But we need, please, a report, please, from the Avery County Morrison Public Library. Thank you for your hosting us tonight, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome to our library. I'm Jenny McLean and I'm the branch manager here. This is Meredith. This is Joy, my right hand. We work together to try to make this library a wonderful place for everyone. Our library has been part of the Amy Regional Library System for 63 years. I've been a part of that for 36. I know firsthand. So, we do so much every day. We do more than check out books, but just doing that is a lot. Our libraries are the center of our communities and so important in so many ways that these little reports that we've done are just going to scratch the surface. Amber has been our director for 9 years. And in that time, we faced a lot together. She's been and is our backbone and our strength. With her support and her very active help, we're able to do so much more for the people we serve. We're so thankful for all the people that we work with. We're such a good team and we can do so much more when we work together. Thank you to our wonderful local library board. We appreciate your voice for us, your time, and your valuable insights to make us better. We're also grateful for our Avery County support, our administrative offices, our maintenance department, which is awesome, and our law enforcement officers who've been really a great support this past year, and so many more who've helped us. And they make us feel like we're all in this together.
In 2024, we've done a lot more than check out books, so we've done a lot of that. Here we've got a picture of 2 days worth on average, the amount of picture books, just picture books that we check in during summer reading. It can be a lot, but we do plenty of other stuff too. We like to think that one of our most important things that we do is bring people together. Here we have a picture of our Mountain Ladies Book Club. They gather every month. They pick out a book. They plan a potluck themed around it and have a good time.
We were able to offer some fantastic programming this year. We welcome folks in the community to form and join a crafters night bi-monthly, and we've had our weekly tabletop gamers who are an amazing
had for a while that offers and teaches a variety of board games weekly. I applied for the Ingram Mauer Chess Foundation's Game Changer program, and we received 5 chess sets with weighted pieces, as well as instructor manuals, student workbooks, and other chess books. And because of that, we were able to start an all-ages chess club during the spring. Meredith spearheaded a bi-monthly D&D night called the Library's Adventure Guild, or Adventurers League, and we continue to have the monthly Mountain Ladies Book Club as well. This year we also had some wonderful community events at the library, including our 3rd annual poetry contest and awards gala, which I've been spearheading the past 3 years, with Debbie, Meredith, and Amber's help. Amber came and helped us serve soup each month during the winter. We offered educational presentations, and Mother Goose came and read stories at our second sleepover.
We also try to get out in the community as much as we can. We've been to events like YMCA Healthy Kids Day, Child Fest, and Avery County Heritage Day with Jamie over there. We tend to set up a table with information. We bring what we need to register folks for library cards. We have activities and giveaways depending on the occasion. And I'm looking forward to hosting events on behalf of PBS Kids this year at the Avery County Brutal Ambassador. We like to remember that our resources go beyond the shelves. I tend to think of what we offer as access. We have access to technology. We have people printing, copying, and faxing every single day. Our mobile hotspots stay constantly checked out. And our patrons are thankful for the new computers that were made possible through state aid offered through the regional system. We have access to things that help improve our patrons' quality of life. This year, after identifying some needs in our community, we've added hygiene hubs and free diapering supplies to help patrons in need. And we've partnered with local organizations for a warm clothing drive in the winter. We help patrons access local organizations themselves, too. We provide access to spaces for groups large and small to meet, quiet spaces for folks to study or teleconference, spaces for parents to get together for play dates, for teens to come after school. And we're glad to provide access to one of the few spaces in the world where you can just be. You don't have to pay money to be there, you don't have to buy something. During our open hours, you can come in and just be as you are, no questions asked. We consider ourselves professional helpers, and we do so much more in a day than just check in books. We help people find what they need, whether it's on the shelves or online through our consortium resources. We promote literacy and lifelong learning through programs like 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten, summer reading, tech help drop-in sessions with Jen, and Zoom Riddle events. We strengthen the library's collection through purposeful collection development, listening to our patrons' requests in person, through surveys, and through our suggestion box. And we continue to grow as professionals through attending workshops, webinars, and conferences. This year, Joy attended NCLA conference, and I attended ARSL, and we both implemented ideas for those conferences in our programming this year. Here's just some snapshots of things that we do beyond providing books. We've got a meeting from our local America 250 committee. We've got a group of folks doing a postcard writing campaign. Here's Jen on our tech drop-in afternoons. We have Joy modeling the ever-popular Eclipse glasses. And we have our new friend Adam Parker helping us get oriented with our new 3D printer.
Okay. Yes, that is me in the beheaded Clifford costume. I have dressed up as Clifford as well as Curious George the year before this, and it's always very hot, but very great fun. Amber supported me going to the North Carolina Library Association conference, which I had won the Maryland G. Meadows conference scholarship for, which was so enriching. Amber and Meredith went to the Association of Rural and Small Libraries in Wichita, Kansas, where Meredith found this very cool short story dispenser at the airport, sponsored by the Wichita Public Library. As well as when I was at the NCLA conference, I helped out with the North Carolina Library Paraprofessional Association table here. That was pretty fun.
This year, we've had an increase in library visits from patrons who are experiencing the difficulties of meeting basic needs. A number of new library features and services have been implemented to help Parks and Recreation, and Oasis to help patrons access warm clothing, food pantries, laundry and showering facilities. And we hosted soup nights every month for anybody in the community, and that was a really great hit. So sometimes life gets difficult for all of us, and knowing how best to help our patrons when they're experiencing problems is a challenge. The library should be a refuge for everyone, especially on those difficult days. Every day we strive to display kindness, maintain peace, and provide a space of retreat. We aim to be up to date with information that will best serve all of our community.
This year we had some great displays. This one up here is for Caroline Mountains Lit Fest, and those authors that will be here this year, the first week in September, we have purchased and displayed their books so that people here can kind of know about the Lit Fest, which is held in Burnsville. And we also had an Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month display, as well as a chocolate-themed Valentine's Day display.
And along with that one, we also had an anti-Valentine's Day display featuring some murder mayhem. And then we have our Black History Month display.
Okay, this one, this is the Constitution Week display from last year. And as a chapter officer in the Cross North DAR, or Daughters of the American Revolution, I've been able to connect our library and the DAR to do several things, offering access and applications to essay contests through the DAR for middle and high schoolers. We have patriotic educational displays for local Avery County people and their ancestors, and as well as having a display for our Constitution Week each year from September 17th through the 23rd, and giving out constitutions and the Declaration of Independence. Sorry. So that's.
My favorite display that I worked on this year was for Banned Books Week, which happens in the fall. We went with a Western theme. Each book that we put on the display, we included a reason that was given for why some folks wanted to pull from a library collection, not necessarily ours, just different things that have been pulled from collections across the country. And we also added redeeming qualities and values educators found in its story, as stated by teachers.
So, I grew up in Rowan County, which is Salisbury, and the Rowan County Public Library is where I first found my love of libraries, and I volunteered with them when I was 14 years old. And they had these holiday baskets at Christmas time where you could make a donation, get a last-minute Christmas gift, and support your library, of which the money goes into purchasing more books for our patrons. So I have sort of implemented that the past couple years for our library here as well.
And this past winter, we did some coffee to warm up with for the adults, and in the afternoon when the kids go out of school, there was some hot chocolate.
In the corner there, you've got some buttons. We always feel lucky to get shared resources among libraries in the system. And last winter, we borrowed Yancey's button maker for a project, and then we went a little wild and made a bunch of book themed and library themed buttons. And give to new patrons whenever they come in, and that's fun.
We have started a puzzle exchange. Someone come in and suggested how much fun it would be to be able to exchange puzzles, and especially in the winter times, it's very popular. We have so many puzzles now. I don't know what to do with them, but they're great. People are into it.
And this year we had lots of DVD donations
brochures for our 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program, which has been a really exciting program that all the libraries in the system have been participating in this year. It's an initiative to encourage grown-ups to help set their kids up for a lifetime love of reading and learning. The participants receive a reading log. For every 100 books a child reads, they can pick up a prize. The grown-up can take their picture with an "I read 100 books" sign, or "I read 200 books." And when they finish their 1,000 books, they receive a keepsake certificate. They get to pick out a book to add to the library's collection with their name inside, and they get a final big prize at the end. You'll see some of our participants do that here in just a minute or two. We were thrilled with our summer reading program this year. We're so thankful for Miss Natasha and all of her hard work, and she has just been a light in our branch. It really, we love it.
Not to steal Spruce Pines thunder, but I was inspired by our Spruce Pines branch, and we started a question of the week as well, which was an opportunity for thought provoking questions, answers mostly literary or library related, and the participants have loved this. We also continue to display fun signs for our sandwich board for each month and each holiday, which the patrons love. It's fun for us to create an informational and encouraging for our patrons to read that they are #1 in our book, and that Constitution Week is September 17th through 23rd, and that March is National Reading Month. Having displays enriches our patrons' library experience immensely.
And we asked some patrons that come into the library, what does the library mean to you? Dr. Stephen Sweet says it's a treasure for our local community. And Myra Brinkley says it's a very calm and peaceful place.
This is Jessica Howard and her 2 little girls who've been coming to the library since they were born. They're our first completionists in the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program. And we're so glad to see that our mission is echoed in what she's thankful for when she says, this has given them a great love of reading and books. That's what we're here to do.
Hattie Connor Green says, I come away with so much more than a stack of books. I come away with a fresh appreciation for a treasure of a library, enriching the lives of people in Erie County. She loves the question of the week and North Carolina Cardinal system, and learning about community events.
When we say she loves the question of the week, we mean it because she takes a picture of it every time she comes in and sends it to all of her friends all around the country on Facebook. So we feel famous now. And we just want to say thank you. We're so thankful for everyone that makes what we do possible through your support.
Wow, I just thought the library was about books. If Mitchell, time for Mitchell to come forward. Thank you, Avery County, and what all you do to make this truly a community project.
Year to be much more consistent. So
love how much easier they are to use compared to the old ones. We were able to help the county complete a substance use assessment to determine how they should use opioid settlement funds. People were encouraged to come to the library to complete the survey if they didn't have internet access. The county donated iPads for that purpose, and then once the survey was completed, we got to keep the iPads. We were also donated a sewing machine and quilting supplies by the Field Resource Center, which I'd like to use programming in the coming year. I've been brainstorming projects for that. We became a Come Right In space in the National Novel Writing Month. It was our information and location shared on the website. We handed out glasses for viewing solar eclipse. We participated in National Voter Registration Day. We started offering the reading incentives through the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten to encourage early literacy. And we take our pictures with the kids because the parents never want to be in the picture. So they say we've read 100 or whatever books, but the kids always want to do it. And we make little, we have a badge machine, and so we make the parents little badges for the kids for them to wear with the kids with the sign. So yeah, we've been doing that. We've partnered with Vi Health to offer one mental health related class a month. Legal Aid came and presented information on air properties and wills, and they're also coming back next month to do another presentation. We started hosting the Blue Ridge Partnership for Children's Play in this group once a week. We help promote story time, summer reading, and Child Fest again this year with the other library, always a lot of fun. So for programs, we offer both hands-on and passive programs. We have the 10th annual Gingerbread House Contest, and over here on the left is our 3 winners. So we have a teen, a kid, and an adult winner, and that's the teen and the kid with their prizes. They have tournaments. We also did the 2nd mini Gingerbread House workshop, which was attended by Santa, and we offered craft stations throughout the years. Some were put in the kids' room, which were geared more towards smaller children, and they did like, painting and pasting and coloring. And others we had for all ages, which was the button machine, which we get a lot of use out of, and laminated bookmarks, which those here are laminated bookmarks, and that was actually really popular. We were able to purchase a puzzle table for our community puzzle, which we keep out year-round, and we have several patrons who stop by once a week or more often just to poke at the puzzle for 30 minutes and then they go on their way. We also purchased new chess clocks for our youth chess club, which we were able to continue from last year. We started a bibliotherapy group at the library, which has been a great way for participants to come and explore their creativity and enjoy each other's company once a month. These are just some of the displays that we put up this year. We usually try to do displays to promote library services and programs, resources, kind of raise awareness of new and existing materials. We also do displays celebrating holidays and raising awareness, like for Van Book Week, things like that. This is a slide with pictures from our summer reading activities that Natasha has planned, so I'm going to let her tell you more about it. But I just wanted to include it because we had a lot of families who they enjoy having things to do in the summer, and having consistent programming like that that was free and fun for the whole family just made such a difference. So I wanted to highlight the amazing job Natasha did. And we also did, in addition to Natasha's programming, we did reading challenges through the summer, and kids could, read and earn prizes and be put in a drawing for larger prizes, and the top 3 kids there are our grand prize winners for this year. As I said, I'm looking forward to a more consistent year with a lot of newer programming. Lila and I have already started brainstorming, programming, and projects that we'd like to try out. And,
Libraries are important. Read, library is not a luxury, it's one of the necessities of life. So many of our youth and young people in this Tri-County area depend on the library. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Spruce Pine Public Library, please. I'm not sure about these, but we're going to be a team
Hi everyone, my name is Michelle Pellerfeld. I'm the branch manager for Spruce Pine Library, and this is Kara Anders. She's the associate librarian. Okay. So yeah, that's us. And then we have Gloria, who's the circulation assistant. She mostly does our Saturday work, and then she'll come and help out other times as we need. It's all about the books, huh? The foundation of a library is its books, and so we are very proud of the selection that we have, and we're so grateful for the budget that has come through that we've been able to put our books on the regular basis. One more thing about the books is that, patrons really anticipate those books being set out. People will come in and they'll say, what's new? And it's like, you were here for 2 weeks ago, like, nothing's new. But they want to know what's new, and a lot of times when we are getting these books, there are some patrons who have read the majority of the books that we have already had. And so getting those new books is crucial for them to stay engaged with their library. But we're more than just books. We have things that folks can check out. Somebody mentioned a sewing machine. We have, I think, the same sewing machine kit and quilting materials. We have chessboards that people can check out, and things like a microscope. There's some other items in there that folks can check out too, like a digital thermometer, a little weather kit, and things like that. A lot of things have already been stated, but all the libraries provide a variety of services. Each library has a person who's a notary. We fax, copy, print. There's computers that can be used. We offer tax forms, voter registration information. Our copy machines can scan to an email, which is really an important thing for a lot of folks. And troubleshooting with the Libby app. Interesting thing, the Libby app, if it's not working for you, it will say, contact your local librarian. Your local librarian has obviously given me information about Libby and how to work it. So, yeah, there's a learning curve there.
Potentially just as much as our
Yeah. Just go back, just 1 second. So, a lot of these services, faxing, scanning email, things like that, computer use, those aren't available in our community anywhere else. Folks can't go, unless they're a member of a bank or a credit union that has a notary, there's no place for them to get things notarized. Scan to email, people come in and they have their phone in their hand and they're like, I need to send this to somebody, I need to print this out and sign it and send it back to somebody. And that's one of the things that we do. We help them navigate that, and we help them, make sure that their paperwork gets into where it needs to be, because a lot of times it's really, really important. So those are some things. But I think Meredith said it. Libraries are for everyone without the expectation of being a consumer. Folks can come into the library and just be there. And they can stay there for as long as our open hours allow them to do that. And not any expectation that they're doing something, or that they're being productive, or that they're reading. They can just be there. Groups we library, Blue Ridge Partnership, for children, play and learn, we have that as well. Via Health, offers, mental health classes, enriching mental health classes, and they offer those as frequently as we want them to. We have, a harder time getting folks to come into those classes, so we usually do twice a month, and hopefully we'll get a couple of people to come. Job seekers frequently come, they want to use computers to apply online, to do resumes and things like that. We have a lot of homeschool groups that come in and use the library. The Chillicothe Beekeepers Association are frequent members who come in to meet there. Montessori School uses our library a lot because they're located just down the street. Oh, sorry. You did go ahead, and I did. You need to go ahead again. Homeschool families, homeschool book club, students, professionals who need a workspace. We have a lot of folks come in and I need to do a Zoom call, or I need to, do a meeting. And yeah, you can do that here. And then folks who need to print, copy, scan, and use a computer. And then we come to our Friends of the Library. So we have a new but enthusiastic group of Friends of the Library. I'm going to call her out. Actually, the president of the Friends of the Library is here tonight. They meet monthly. They have a 501c3 status. There's about 36 members, and there's 5 set board members. And they do a lot of stuff. They help plant flowers in garden boxes in front of the library where people park. They have pop-up book sales each month from January to June. They're having their annual book sale in October with a kickoff fundraiser at the dispensary in Spruce Pine. And folks are encouraged to come dressed as their favorite literary character. It's going to be a lot of fun. So this was their pop-up book sales, and this was each month they had a different theme for it. And it was a lot of fun. People came and they're like, I don't know what this is, I just came to buy books. And it's like, yeah, but do this thing. Like, tell a story, do it, do a craft. And they really liked it. Our children's room recently got revamped. This used to be a white wall that had nothing on it whatsoever. It had a small Lego table pushed up against it. And we fixed it. With help from the Friends of the Library, they bought some of the items that you see there and also helped install all of what you see there. And now it's like a gravitational point. Kids come in and adults come in and they're like, it's really cool. It's like, yeah, just play around with it. And they're like, I can't do that. I'm like, yeah, you can. It's okay. It's okay. So everyone likes the sensory wall. This is our chess club. We started in September 2022 with four youth who came. And I think 2 of them were the kids of the chess coach. But grew rapidly and ended last school year with 22 kids who came to play chess. And so these are 8 to 18-year-olds. Unfortunately, our chess coach has moved, and we have struggled to find a new chess coach. So without a chess coach, our chess club is no more. So we're still holding out hope that in the next couple of weeks somebody will be found, or somebody here wants to step up and say, basically we need somebody who's good with kids, knows how to play chess, and can pass the background check. So if you know anybody, please send them our way. Just 3 weeks.
It's easy to learn to play chess from a book too, so just go to the library, pick out a book on chess, and learn.
There you go. There you go. We have plenty of chess books.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're really hopeful that that continues. Our Readers Who Run is a new group that started recently. I think it started in March. It started, let's see, so we have 11 people signed up, 3 to 5 of them are regular runners. And And what the idea is that a group of people will meet at the library, they will run, walk, dance, whatever they want, through time, and come back to the library and then talk about a book that they're all reading. So this was the first book that was chosen. It's about a woman who ran the Boston Marathon. This is one of our members, her name is Kayla, and she actually went and ran the Boston Marathon and got her book signed by the author. And they came back and donated it to the library. And so the next book is called If Women Grow Rooted. And I think we're about ready to choose another book. And if you have ideas,
We've chosen it. It's Haruki Murakami, if any of you are familiar with the author. It's his memoir on learning.
Oh, wonderful.
So, yeah, it should be fun. Based on,
So that was before kindergarten, you all have heard about this quite a bit tonight. I just want to put in my little plug, I think it's so important because it encourages adults to read to their littles. More words, little hears before, the more words that a little hears, the more likely they're to do better in kindergarten. Repetition is encouraged. Parents are like, but I read that same book 3 times. I'm like, great, mark it down on your reading one 3 times because kids are hearing the words, they are anticipating what's going to happen in the story, and they're learning the cadence of a story. This is how a story plays. There are incentives that go along, just like others have said. We have a photo wall actually, so all the kids here had met either the 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 goal. We have 7 kids. Well, there's 6 up there, but there's actually 7 kids who are working on the 600 goal. And that's an amazing thing. They have read 700 books. Their adult has read 700 books, which is just fantastic. So not only are it been benefits, but the parents have been benefits too, because it's encouraging that parent-child bond. So some other things, instead of doing a pumpkin carving contest, Tara does these fantastic pumpkins that are children's book characters, and we'll have folks vote on which one they like the most. And then their votes will enter them into a draw. Olivia is a fan favorite, and she might make a repeat. You never know.
Technically, the Cat in the Hat got the most votes, but Olivia's probably going to come back again for the 3rd year in a row, so stay tuned for that.
We also had a guest speaker who did a virtual reality presentation, brought virtual reality headsets, allowed folks to try them on and explain like how it works and things like that, and then did a small tour through France with the virtual reality.
It was actually a tour through all the countries in Europe. Not just France, it was like everything. It was really cool.
Okay. So this is all about summer reading program, and it's the biggest event for us of the year. It started with Clifford reading Littles at story time, and the Littles just loved it. The first event was Lee McRae Wildlife Rehabilitation. They brought a hawk, a falcon, a snake, an owl, and other animal ambassadors. This event was really popular. It had about 60 people who came to view this event. This was B-Rab, the magician. He's super entertaining and super engaging with the audience. This presentation had about 64 participants. Parkwood Playhouse does their Tricky Trickster Tales. They do play each year, and it's always very well attended. This year we have 150 participants, which made this the thing that we had the most patrons for in the library since I've a really fantastic presentation. They're bilingual, and they had the kids do a craft, and the kids really enjoyed stuff that came out from we love to do. Team Echo Aquarium and Shark Lab. This is always fun. They came last year too, and just had so much fun. They bring different artifacts and different little animals, like a shark egg, and say something else about terror.
They didn't bring that many live animals this time. Last year they brought a whole bunch of reptiles, but this year they brought like shark jaws up here, and previously I was holding a megalodon tooth. That was pretty cool. That was probably the highlight of my summer. And they brought other kinds of shark teeth, and yeah, it was really cool. It was a really good hands-on experience for the kids.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
This was San Marin, did Adventures from Near and Far. These were cool because we got to, we did crafts for each week, and so we got to make our crafts coincide with what they had. So for Adventures Near and Far, we did maps, and then had a little adventure kit for folks, and so that they can map where they've been and where they'd like to go. So we did things like that. And then Mark Lippard was the final presentation of the summer. He was a comedian that people had a fantastic time. We had this man who comes into the library a lot and brought his foster kids, but he was helping Mark do his whatever he did. And the next thing you know, this guy does not have his watch on anymore because Mark was like sleight of hand taking his watch. And this guy was just like, I'm like, were you in on that? Come on, you were in on that, huh? And he's like, no, I have no idea. No idea. So,
It was really cool. I was taking pictures, and I actually got him taking the watch off, and I did not even notice. Nobody even noticed.
and then summer reading ended with ice cream for everyone. Blueberry ice cream in Spruce Pine. Their ice cream is fantastic. If you get a chance or you see them, stop and get some ice cream because it is really, really good. So for our summer reading, we had 24 participants and many others who did not fill out reading logs. Each week you've received a take-home craft or project. And then the ones who did return on the reading log were entered into the drawing for the end of summer. And lastly, a plug for donations. So we have a hygiene hub that's outside of our library in the parking lot, and it is stocked solely with donations. We get donations for shampoo and razors and toothpaste and toothbrushes, deodorant, things like that, and feminine hygiene. And so those things go into the hygiene hub, and we try to stock it once a week, as long as we have donations to do that with. We got a donation of hundreds of DVDs and CDs. This guy was like, you know what, I summered in Spruce Pine a couple of years back, and I loved it, and so I wanted to give this to the library. And we were like, oh my God, this was great. It was a little bit overwhelming, because hundreds of DVDs, like, yeah. But we were so grateful to have it, and now our patrons are like, you have so many. I know, it's fantastic. And then we have community puzzles too, and those are all by donation. And by, it's a honor system. They take a puzzle, they bring it back when they're done. If something's wrong with that one, they bring it back here.
system, how well it works.
If you don't know me, I'm Wayne Edwards. I'm the branch manager at Yates County Public Library. And this is Miss Brittany Tipton. She is my social secretary. She is my right hand, my left hand, and usually one hemisphere of my brain. So, can't do that. We're probably going to repeat a number of things, but we'll try not to be too boring. You've heard all about the 1,000 books before Kindergarten program. Right now we have 39 kids who are participating, but we just reached 8,100 books read. And this lovely young lady here is Sophie. She is our first 1,000 books. Also, earlier in the summer, we were lucky enough to have a young man come in who had just finished his degree in Slavic languages, and came in and for free, as sort of a graduate project, taught Russian and German for free to participants at the library. 3 days a week. He taught German in the mornings and Russian in the afternoon. Not so many Russian students, but the German classes were pretty well participated in and went very well. So it was a really interesting project, and folks enjoyed it. I think he's in Kazakhstan right now. Yeah, that's where he was headed to last I heard. The Spanish Cafe. We've sort of taken a hiatus for the summer. We're going to be starting back pretty soon. But the Spanish Cafe is something along with Amber we've been working with, and with Thrive Appalachia Food Collective. They teach kids to cook and the business of cooking. So what we do with the Spanish Cafe is folks who want to learn English, who speak Spanish, come in. Folks who speak English who want to learn Spanish come in. They get together with the translators and folks who are bilingual, and everybody tries to learn one another's language. And we give this as an incentive. They have food, and it's delicious food. The kids from Thrive Appalachia cook the food along with a lovely abuela who is teaching them to cook, and they get the money as sort of a catering business. So it's helped the kids learn businesses, learn cooking, and they get a little cash. So it's a great work. The Ales and Tales Book Club is one of our 2 book clubs. Ales and Tales meets at Home Place Brewery. And these are just some of the books they were read this year. Oh, yes, that's true. We can do these book clubs because of Cardinal Resource Sharing. We don't get more than 1 copy of the book, for the most part. 2 if we're really getting crazy. So they choose books that are plentiful in the system, and they do those every month. The club is not at our facility, but we support them, and they vote on and choose all the books they use. They have a great time. I think they're up to now like 25, 30 people at pretty much every meeting. So. And the Wednesday Readers is a little more sedate book club, though you wouldn't know from our discussions. And I lead this one at the library on the 3rd Wednesday of every month. And these are the books we've read this year. Again, the Cardinal system helps us to get these. Ms. Brittany, you want to?
So we're lucky to have an art gallery, Miss Jody, works very hard, went back there to curate the tennis floor. We've had a lot of different exhibits this year. One right here, a local artist, she did some paintings. A lot of people loved it. We actually had a man come in and said, "That's my neighbor. I didn't realize that she was an artist." We had one with Black History Month, October Arts Day, one with the schools. That one, a lot of kids did great artwork with that. Of course, with Mr. Kivett, every year we have an exhibit with him for his trust. And then Lewis Arts Guild, who's doing the tour now. It was amazing 50-year anniversary. If you didn't get to come, they have some really cool pieces in that. And then right now, the Brad Group has one going right now. And
Child Fest. Child Fest is always fun. I know we saw some of the pictures earlier, but it's really nice for everybody in the county to get together and showcase the different agencies to help children and families. And we were really happy to be part of this. We had cornhole and all kinds of really fun stuff. We did, Brittany changed our cornhole board into a hungry caterpillar. The kids had a lot of fun with that. Pet adoption event. We started out our summer on June 1st with the pet adoption event. We partner as often as we can with the Yancey County Humane Society. During COVID, we didn't really get to do much of this. We've done it before, but they brought out some pups, and if nothing else, the pups got a lot of exercise because the kids who came in walked them all over the library property the whole afternoon. But a couple of them actually did get adopted that day, and another one later on in the week. So we're really happy with that. And the Eclipse Party. Pardon the weird guys in the corner down there. We wound up having about 80 people attend our Eclipse Party. Just a little advice, for the next eclipse, start getting your glasses about 6 months before. Okay? If you call on the afternoon of the eclipse, we're probably not going to have it. It was a bit cloudy that day. As you can see, though, we actually managed to get some pretty good photographs. We did not get to use our telescopes and our binoculars for solar viewing. We had special ones with filters because you can't see through those clouds with those. But the clouds themselves acted as filter enough that we actually got to watch it. And so we had about 80 people there still at the moment of maximum eclipse, and it was a lot of fun. So we hope to do that one day again. 2026. And our summer program at Richard Literature Library. It was a good summer. This was, of course, our first, and this group is that little kid down there.
That's my daughter down in the corner. We actually had a lot of fun. We kind of coordinated similar themes and with summer reading and Natasha, so that's what that was our most participated event was really great. We had 126 people come to that. And then here's our bug out for adventure. The kids had a lot of fun. Give them supplies to go do fun hunts and a scavenger hunt in nature. They had there were certain families that they consistently came to every event we had this summer. They just had a lot of fun. And they brought a lot of cool animals, and they got possums and turtles and And then we also, this is my first year where I was helping plan with more hands-on with the events. We didn't have solar ovens, but unfortunately the sun was not on our side that day. It was very cloudy, so we made the solar ovens so they could take them home and made marshmallows and boards and marshmallows. This event, the kids got to make different types of airplanes, and the one that's super farthest won a FlexiRex thanks to our 3D printer that we have. People can print lots of cool things, and then we made candy sushi down here in the corner. And
this was our Hex Bugs activity. This was another one that we did. The kids made robots, Hex robots out of toothbrush heads and little vibrating motors. And this was our robot fighting ring here and robot races. They had a lot of fun. And kids got to take on their little robots and play with them. This was our rocket launching adventure. We made spectroscopes inside out of CDs and cardboard tubes. Then we went outside to launch water-powered rockets. And that was the big draw that day. They had a blast. Including the young lady dressed as Princess Elsa over there, who launched the highest rocket of anybody. Must have gone 100 feet. We think she cheated and used her powers. Yes, you have to take the picture of the chart now, of course. And this was Captain Brittany here running a tug ship during our pirate obstacle course adventure, where the kids came in to swab the deck and played Captain Hook ring toss. We had a pretty good time with that one too.
And they also brought, mermaid purses, which is a shark, whole shark eggs. The kids got to fill in the buckets with candy, so it was really cool. And then also we've had Mr. Jamie come and Miss Natasha for our archaeology event. The kids had so much fun. I think more sand ended up in the floor than back in the containers, but the kids had so much fun digging into that. I think as a probably remember that for many years. And then you can tell us a little bit about
Nancy Library is sometimes a family affair. The young man on the shoulders of our unicyclist is my son, who is sort of afraid of heights. But we got conned into it, and that's him having a panic attack in there. It is a lot of fun. And that is also my son who got conned into being Clifford that day. And we had a blast. This was our part of the Sizzling Summer event on the town square, and we gave away 3 books about unicycling and balance and juggling, that sort of thing. And Clifford visited. So that was a lot of fun.
So also with our summer reading, we did reading lots as well. Many families that we had come this summer, we don't have an exact number for how many individuals participated, but it was a high amount. We have, it's just a given day in the summer, over 100 people every day coming in. But we did reading logs, and the kids who entered the reading log got small prizes, and then at the end of the summer got prizes. And here are our prize winners here. They're so excited. Thanks to Ms. Natasha, we have some book bundles that were given, and also Lego sets. This little boy right here, his brother, and his other little brother came to every event we had this summer, so I'm so happy that he got to win a prize.
We wound up averaging every Thursday, which was the day we had our summer programming. We averaged around 200 people per day, per Thursday in the library. And I believe we wound up with well over 1,000 actual participants in our activities over the summer. So it was a huge summer. We had a blast.
We did end our summer reading program with a couple of different things, including Kona Ice. Everyone loved that. And then we also had thanks to the Pisgah National Forest Service, they had Smokey the Bear come and Miss Joy has to it's his 80th birthday, and all the libraries across the country were participating in the program, and luckily we got to have Smokey come this year.
Also, right now at the library, during this year, we've started with Tokyo Beekeepers, a beekeeping library. We've become the home for their books, DVDs, and other materials on beekeeping and bees in general. So anybody can come in and use it as a reference library, but the Tokyo Beekeepers can come in and check out that material. We've also had a donation of a frame extractor to extract the honey, and that has been checked out twice now, successfully, used and brought back. So that's we're trying to do that for the beekeepers in the community who don't want to go out and spend the money on that. So that's been successful.
And we believe we might be the only library in the state that has this available.
We could not find another one anywhere at all. But we also have a dementia caregivers library, which we've started in cooperation with the Dementia Caregivers Association, and right now a new mommies group is starting to meet at the library. They've only had 1 meeting so far. Their second one is tomorrow, and hoping to help and provide support for those available. So those are just some of the things we have going on.
In Access Program Room, we also have puzzle exchanges and a puzzle table. One of our patrons, every week he comes in and works on the puzzle that we have available. That's been very popular, and we also do questions on the board. So far, you just Access Program, and everybody's enjoyed it. So.
And our favorite big gadget is a 3D printer. We've used it all summer long to print fidgets. There are fidgets all over the library at this point. You can't really move a book or move a chair without finding a fidget. But the kids love them, the adults love them, so we've got them all over the place. We're continuing to make more. We're also printing items for patrons who come in and find something online, printables.com or Thingiverse that they want, and we do it for the cost of the filament. So that's been a pretty neat any service we help to expand on that.
And we also are able to add in sensory equipment in our kids section. We hope to eventually be able to add more in for a bubble tube, a sensory wall panel. There was one child in particular, he wanted to know, his mom tasked us exactly where we got that because it's his favorite thing to come into the library to see. But we're going to keep adding to that and hopefully be able to just make it more fun just for kids to enjoy and adults.
Do you care to explain really quick, just for those who may not know, what passive programming is in relation to active programming?
Yeah, passive programming is when you put out items and instructions, materials that people are just allowed to use. They come in, like we have maker stations with all sorts of arts materials. We have a science station with microscopes and samples to look at and light experiment stuff. And so people can come in and entertain themselves without library staff actively participating in that. We also, Brittany makes up crafting kits to take home during the winter months especially, people really like that. So the passive program is something that we don't necessarily have to participate in, just provide materials for. A lot of that is very successful. Folks have great.
And all of our libraries have passive programming, just so you know.
We've also seen a very large increase of adult patrons coming in who are wanting to use spaces. We hope that, depending on the next given year, to order study booths so people can have a quiet space that's got charging stations built into it, and just to insulate the space for sound so that they would be able to have their own private space to work. Because unfortunately, in our community, there's very few spaces people can have just a private space to be by themselves.
Any questions from the board? Thank you, folks.
We will now go into the regional reports. This is your services that go through the region. And the first one is the bookmobile police. While they're coming,
Hey, Frank.
Start on top. My screen is very short. My name is Jamie McGee. I am bookmobile and outreach librarian for the regional library system. I do serve all 3 counties. I'm also the resource sharing lead. The Cardinal resource sharing is what we call the processing of all the materials that come from all over the state. So that falls under my umbrella as well. I've been doing this now, tail into my 7th year of driving the bookmobile and the outreach van. It is its own branch, so I am a branch manager. That being said, I'm also cross-trained to work in every library system. So if someone's sick or out on maternity leave, maybe it was a few years ago. Yeah, it was maybe 4 years ago now. But I stepped in at the Bakersfield branch and worked in her stead. And I like very much working in the libraries as well as my daily. I'm also active in the community. I live in Yancey County. And I am an active volunteer and board member for the Yancey Humane Society. So I do that as well on top of my job. And I'm a gardener and a farmer and all that fun stuff too. So the bookmobile, like I said, and outreach, it's its own branch. It has its own collection. And I do handle all the curating of that collection. Obviously, it's not as large as what we find in the regular, but the outreach aspect, that collection is our large print collection. So that's all the large print materials that we have as a regional system, and obviously those are housed everywhere. Quite a bit of it is housed at the office in Burnsville. For me to pull from, and I can also call branches and pull. So on the bookmobile side of things, the bookmobile and outreach they both operate on a once-a-month schedule, to where I'm in one part of the community once every month. So I see my patrons about 12 times. And bookmobile and outreach are mostly home visits. Within the outreach aspect of it, we do have what we call deposit collections, where we take large print materials and we will kind of take it over a shelf at the senior centers, all the assisted living facilities in the Tri-County area, and those collections rotate on every other month basis. We do have that set up right now to be just by the honor system, where those materials are checked out by the facility, and then the patrons or the residents of these facilities then know that their library books are meant to be returned to their library. On the bookmobile side, I mostly do home visits, and that's, I'll drive right up to your house and bring the books, or you can get on the bookmobile. That serves older adults, homeschool families. Also on the bookmobile, I do pre-K programs, after-school programs, private schools, such as First Time Montessori, Genesis Academy Christian School in Owensville, Bethel School in technically I guess that's Lincoln County. On the bookmobile, I do community stops if my schedule allows. So if I'm out in the community, And I haven't drove trucker time, for instance, in Mitchell County. I'll pull into the Goulding Community Center there, and I'll just park in the parking lot. And I do see some visitors at those stops coming out of that. And those are mostly in the summer. I set that up to kind of be out in the community and try to get a way to give access to the kids that are out for the summer. And so sometimes we'll get on and check out materials. Also, we do a lot of special events with the bookmobile. I do parades, we do Christmas parade, 4th of July parade. I bring it to Child Fest, Heritage Festival here in Newland. And then I also do almost every Saturday during the summer in Square in Burnsville, go to the Path Summer Systems programs. And of course, those are very well. So I've just got a few pictures of some of the events that we've done. This is the bookmobile at the Burnsville Christmas parade this year. Took that photo, got started. I have a one-person show, so it's hard for me to be doing things and also taking pictures. So I don't have a ton of pictures, and I do get a little weary of, taking pictures of children. So I understand taking a lot of pictures of kids I see on the next slide. This is the Bookmobile Child Fest, which is always a lot of fun. It sees a lot of people, a lot of families. Unfortunately, this year it was so windy that we couldn't have any outdoor presents. My sign blew away, my table blew away. It was a bit of a mess. They couldn't have the inflatables this year, which was, kids were disappointed on that. Next slide. So we set up our craft inside, and this actually gives you kind of a good picture of the interior of the bookmobile. It's small. It's a 25-foot box truck. I think the collection houses about 2,500 books. And of course, not all of them are on the bookmobile at one time, but that kind of gives you an idea of the size of the bookmobile. So this is our outreach van, and this is me. I participated in the summer food program. This is in Yancey County. This is a program that's spearheaded by PATH, but there are lots of partners: Tractor, Reconciliation House, Mountain View Community Fund, Cowboy Convenience and Diggin, Community Garden. And this is a program where they deliver food in the summer, home deliveries for children that are during the school year. I think it serves 200 families, maybe during the summers. Amber fills in for me usually.
Just one.
One delivery of 5, so 20% of me do. So this is a good program that we really appreciate being able to help them out with. This is the bookmobile here in Newland at Heritage Days. Very fun. I'm glad I get to come up to do that with Sarah and Joy and fun to see that. And next year, about it's starting to be kind of busy. And this is the bookmobile on the town square. This was at the back to school dash, which was the very last one that they did. Very well attended. We gave out pencils and erasers, and labels. A lot of fun. This was a well attended event, as it is every year. That culminates the summer there in Burnsville. This was our table that we had set up for the archaeology talk that we did as part of the summer reading program. I'm formerly an archaeologist, and that's where I went to college. before. So I brought my big kit. This is actually my complement of tools that I would use in the field. And I gave a little PowerPoint presentation. This is Natasha Lewis' story. It was a lot of fun, very well attended. I very much enjoyed it because I wanted to talk about archaeology and history. Next slide. And this is me in Bakersville, showing some of the kids my tools. They were intrigued by the calipers that I use. So I was kind of showing them how that works. Next slide. This is the last slide. And last slide is this is resource sharing. So this is once a week. I have to. This is our wall of all the items that are getting shipped around the state that all of our branches. And then on Thursdays, so that comes in throughout the week. And on Thursdays, I have to package it up. And then also, we receive items through FedEx every day. Probably on average 10 to 12 boxes, I guess, that I then unpack, and that all goes to our local branches. And this is only since we've joined Cardinal, of course. And it is pretty amazing to see the volume of things that go in and out. I always think it's great to see our materials that are going out, because we do have some older materials on our shelves that are unique to us, our UG system. And I feel like those books are finding new life because now they're going to Forsyth County or down to the coast and getting that again. So it kind of makes it worthwhile to keep on the shelf for as long as we have. And that's it. That's me. Next is our children's services, please. And I'm happy to answer any questions at any time. You can email me, call me. And I'd also like to get one more thing, can I plug? I do have some brochures here, and I'd be happy if we could spread those around the communities. We're always looking for more people for the program. Thank you. I did not mention PBS. Yeah, I was spotlighted on PBS. They were doing a commercial, and I got to do that with some school kids from Deaton Elementary after school, and it was a lot of fun. I think they've only released one clip. They're supposed to do 3 clips, but if you have little ones at home, you might catch me on PBS. It's on. I think they're playing it on the Doodle.
They are. They're playing it on the Rudel channel.
It's the kids' channel.
Yeah. And just before Natasha starts, Jamie will never brag on himself. So I just wanted to let you know that if he misses people in the community or they don't have their books, you better believe that the first message we have on the voicemail machine is, can you please let Jamie know that I'm ready for 5 more books in this particular series. And also he knows more about Amish fiction and than any other than our readers. So I'll just say that.
And I'll add to it. I got to ride with Jamie on the bookmobile at least twice, and he is so good at what he does in terms of connecting with the patrons. It was really fun. So, my name is Natasha Shannon. I'm the children's librarian. I've been at this job just a little over a year. I started a year ago in July. I grew up in Yancey County, but then moved away and have lived a lot of different places, and was planning to move back to help care for my 90-year-old, almost 91-year-old father. And I was so fortunate that he got the Yancey Journal for me, and I saw the advertisement for this position. And it did just like that. So I feel really lucky that I got to be in this job. So I was excited to return to the libraries of my childhood where I learned to love reading. So I loved picture books as a child, it took me a while to transition to chapter books. I was really like 10 years old, and it was the Happy Hollister series. And I was able to see this book come through our system, which was kind of exciting. That helped me transition into reading books without pictures, or with less pictures. So in my first month, I spent time getting to know my coworkers and visiting each library. The libraries of my childhood were the Yancey Public Library, which was very small at that point, and the Spruce Pine Library, and also the Bookmobile. That was also important to me. And I also visited libraries outside of Amy to learn about children's programming. So I went to Boone and I got some great information from the library there. I took some time rearranging the office and inventorying the supplies, and I contacted Head Start, so we began planning for story time to begin at the end of August. So the day begins. I arrive at the office in Birdsville at 8 a.m. I collect boxes of books to be delivered to the library. Jamie was mentioning that. And where story time is going to take place each day. So on Monday I go to Spruce Pine, Tuesday I go to Metro County, on Wednesday to the Public Library, Wednesday I'm here at the Avery Morrison Public Library, and Thursday I'm at the Yancey County Public Library. And then story time. So the first story time starts at 10 for a Head Start group or a school group, and then the second story time starts at 11 for anyone from the public who wants to join. And I start story time always with a little song, so I'm going to ask you to join me. So you put your hand up here like this. This is hello in sign language. Then your two fingers go like this. This is friends. Point to your wrist. That would be it's time. And then put your fingers on your chin to say hello. So you've just done it in sign language. You say it 2 times. You can go to the next one. Each week focuses on a different theme, so here are the examples of the pamphlets that go out, and Joy helps me create those. And you can see my planner board with the books, and some of the books that might be a theme. So lots of different examples. The age range for the preschool story time is 3 to 5, which is similar to the public story time, but anybody's welcome. So sometimes I have babies, and sometimes I have school-age children, so it really varies. Children and families enjoy connecting during the after-story craft project. I don't do that with Head Start just because the timing is kind of tight, but after my story time, which is generally about 30 to 35 minutes, I usually have a craft project that the kids can engage in if they want. It's a choice. Some kids just like to play, so they just go in and play. But it is a time that I hear parents talking to each other. It's a time for me to talk with families, kids, or certain other people. So it's actually really nice, less structured time. Then I return to the office in the afternoon with my car full of boxes that I'm bringing back from the library to go to different branches or to be sent all over the state. And in the afternoon, it's also time for me to start working on lesson plans for future story times, but also for special events like Child Fest, which people have talked about. We'll get on next one. And to begin planning for summer programming. And this was the summer programming brochure that Joy really worked hard on doing, so I really appreciate that. Another thing I'm involved in is the Story Trail installation, so helping pick the books as well as getting them ready for the installation and installing the Story Trail. Holiday events, I was Santa's elf assistant, and which board member offered to bring Santa to story time? Did you tell? Thank you, Steve. And I was part of the Birdsville Christmas parade, the Bookmobile with James, so that was really fun. Just little events like that. Continuing education and community connection opportunities. So Tara and Mindy and I were able to go to the Reconnect Resilience in-person training in Asheville. When I went to the library in Boone, they introduced me to Supercharged Storytime online program for both new and seasoned children's librarians. So that's a course that I'm taking slowly. I visited Penland's open house to learn new art-related techniques that can be utilized, and I put that to use during our Child Fest time. So that was really wonderful. I volunteered to be a backup child care provider for the Partnership for Children's Adult Education classes. I participated in the Run for Holland, and this was our story trail book, so we're highlighting that and connecting it with the Run for Holland that happens in Spruce Pine in the spring. So new ideas and community connections. When I was part of that I'm still taking that class, Supercharged Storytime. I learned stuff from other librarians, and I learned about something called Novel Effect, where you have an app on your phone called Novel Effect, and certain books, like Death of the President is on there. So you can be reading the book, and then there's a little background, not just noise, but a background. It's wonderful, it's really fun. It's music and sound effects, basically. And it really does help pull the kids' attention in, especially if you're on the third book. And we've done some movement, and we've done some song, but you really want to catch their attention. So I discovered this, and Amber supported me in getting that app. And then we actually got these gifts, they're really gift certificates for the summer for any patron who wants. This was a free use of the Novel Effect app for the summer. It runs out at the end of, the beginning of September. It runs out. So that was something that I discovered and ran it by Amber. And at first I thought, we can't do this. And I realized, no, Amber needs to decide that. And she said, yes, we can. The North Carolina Children's Book Award is something that I'm interested in doing a little bit more with this year. So Amber has supported me in buying sets for the 2025 Book Award. So I have 4 sets, and my idea is to give one set to a second grade classroom or to a school and a group of second grade classrooms. And the teacher would read the books aloud over the school year. And then in March, I would come to the classroom and help facilitate a vote where they'll vote on my favorite book of the picture books is what I'm focusing on. And then I'll send that in. So that's something that I'm looking at starting. This year I joined the Scholastic Literacy Partnership and gave away 3 children's books during the summer sibling event on Burnsville Square in June that Wayne and Brittany talked about. And there were a few extra books. Some of those books, I asked each branch, do you want these books as part of your prizes for summer reading? And so we got some extra books there too. So then 7 weeks of summer programming begins. We had actually 8 programs, but each library they all had the same program except for the very final one. And so Jamie and I did the archaeology summer program at 2 branches, and our hope is next year we can do it at the 2 branches that we didn't visit. And then story time continues when it's possible with the assistance of Miss Amber, because sometimes I'm too busy to be able to do a story time. So it's more sporadic. There were about maybe 4 or 5 story times throughout the summer at each library. So you can see some of the events. The adventures in archaeology, the May Wildlife Center, definitely the animal focused ones, the bring up favorite of those, but it was exciting. Well, maybe this was fine, it was reading live for you guys, so it varies. So one thing that was kind of neat too, the library in Bakersville is a much smaller space, so some of the programming worked fine in the small space like we are here, but for the bigger events like these presentations, we were able to use the courthouse across the street that has an amazing event space. learn how to ride a unicycle. I'm not quite there yet. I used to be able to do it, but I really need to hold on still. The GoPay team was amazing because not only were they helping the children, they were really also focused on me as a children's librarian, trying to give me some resources that I could use, especially with their singing and their songs. So that was pretty special. We didn't bring it up here. You can get that. A part of my job is data collection, so just paying attention to the numbers. So each month of the school year, I'll give a number like this. This is something I'm using for all summer. Collect all the numbers, and so the number that's important to know is that for children's summer programming, we were trying to serve adults and kids of all ages, so it's really family summer programming. My final number was 1,986 patrons. So that was exciting to know. That many people participated in all of our summer programming. So the relationships that are developed with both children and adults are one of the highlights of this job. Being invited to Fernie's birthday party. She's somebody who comes to the Yancey Library with her mom and sister. Miss Charlotte, who's a grandmother who comes to the library neighborhood, offering to teach us how to make sock puppets, and then volunteering to join us for an after-school craft session so the children could each make their own. So this is an example of one of the puppets, and that was just so wonderful. And then having Bruce right here pretend to be Miss Natasha. It's such an honor. I wish you could hear this one, but he is singing the song. Hello, friends. And then he's singing, now it's time to say goodbye. We do the same thing. Except for that hello, goodbye. So when you see something like this, you know you're making an impact in a great way. And I feel really fortunate to have this work. Now it's time for chocolates, he says.
Grandpa too. I know, it's like he's snoring.
Yeah. And thank you. I am very glad to be here.
Next, we will hear from our digital library, digital alliteration library. Literacy, digital literacy. It's a new provision.
So, a lot of my job is to try to connect people with the technology and the ability to use it in ways that are most helpful for them and give them the resources they need. And I'm really nervous here that you're PowerPoint. So let's talk for a minute. I promise I do know how. Just starting out, I really started getting to work on this in May, and I'm working sort of with a digital inclusion definition from the National Digital Inclusion Alliance, which has like 5 elements of everybody having access to affordable, robust internet service, devices that are internet enabled that meet their needs, access to digital literacy training, quality technical support, number 4, and number 5 is applications and online content that enable them to do what they need to do and encourage self-sufficiency and participation in empowerment. So, sort of thinking about this job going, as I've started out, I've been trying to focus on all 5 of those areas. There's a lot of obstacles and barriers in this area to having affordable internet access. There are a lot of internet service providers that do offer more affordable internet packages and service based on income that aren't available throughout much of our area. There was a federal program, the Affordable Connectivity Program, that just ended because of lack of funding, because it wasn't renewed, and we don't know when that will come back. That just ended this spring, like right as I started this job. So that first element of affordable broadband internet service is something that there's only so much we can do, but we can provide quality internet service at our libraries and help using them. We already really have that with all the library staff in our branches. We do a phenomenal job of helping people. They also have a lot of other stuff to do. So one of the first things I've done helping people one-on-one is to just be available at the libraries on a schedule for tech drop-in hours, and that's been going really well. People have showed up more and more as I've gone on. I thought it might be like a 15 or 30 minute sort of spot. I've been doing it on Northwood lately, and it's taken an hour or more, but that's fine. I have some time, enough time to review. I've helped people with all kinds of things, from setting up an email so they can apply for a credit card, to getting their Kindle synced with Libby because it's not working, to just setting up, just trying to get back into an email account that they're locked out of. I know our librarians run into that a lot, and it's very frustrating. I just tried to help somebody the other day. You literally can't get in because she didn't have a cell phone number for 2-factor authentication, which more and more people are now providing. You have to not only have a phone that you use for phone calls, you have to use it to connect with your internet accounts. And a lot of people around here still don't even have cell phone. She had a landline. She can't get a direct phone account unless she pays money. So a lot of people I work with are, really surprised that this help is available. They're really happy. Kind of can't believe it's free. They're delighted. They offer to pay me. It's something that people really need, and I'm hoping that we can really establish a strong program that can be sustainable and keep going with it. So I started out trying to learn the landscape of the programs and what people are already doing in this field. I started to engage with the High Country Council of Governments that facilitated the funding that came to us to do this. Others with SkyCon International, the National Digital Inclusion Alliance, and Institute for Local Self-Reliance. There's all these organizations that have been super helpful, including one in Charlotte called E2D that's eliminating the digital divide, and they actually refurbish corporations' old laptops and sell them for very cheap to people based on their income, or to organizations like us, such as order 20 laptops and let us pick up. We've got 15 new hotspots we're trying to put into circulation. Really soon, another thing I've been doing research-wise, trying to figure out what to buy. Trying to figure out the best cellular providers so that we can provide more hotspots because people can't get broadband, and that's an issue. Our topography is another challenge. I was able to attend a couple of conferences since getting started. The Institute for Emerging Issues at NC State held a digital champion, digital opportunities gathering for individuals working in this area and organizations throughout the state of North Carolina. It was really helpful. I met a lot of people. The same thing happened recently. There was a digital champions workshop for people in Asheville at the Land of Sky Council of Governments, and I will be going in a couple weeks up to Massachusetts to the Association for Rural and Small Libraries on a scholarship provided by the State Library of North Carolina, which I think will be really helpful. All of these places have helped me learn what people are doing in similar environments with similar barriers with population. We're applying for some more funding, as Amber mentioned. We just applied for another grant through Dogwood. They're funding a really large initiative in digital opportunities, and they want to promote community-based organizations working together. It's like a hub and spoke model, and so we have applied to be a hub to administer up to $325,000 of grant money for other organizations throughout the area that we work in. We're really hoping that that will come through and that we can use that to hire more help, to hold more events, to do more device and pay for internet if we have to, just get more internet out there, get more devices out there, get more events going, cover childcare, whatever people, transportation, whatever people need in order to do this, because there are so many obstacles to getting help that we need when you live your daily life. And another grant we are applying for this month is, you should find out about that one through, I think through September they're reviewing applications, and hopefully by October we'll learn about that. And another one is just $5,000 for training using a curriculum that the Public Library Association has developed, I think with AT&T, and it's specifically for providing digital literacy training, computer skills. They have different modules, different subjects. So I am, with or without that funding, going to be starting doing computer classes in each of the branches in addition to the tech drop-ins, and continue to try to get more hotspots, more Wi-Fi. We are brainstorming ideas to get more public Wi-Fi available, as well outside of our library branches, because there are only 4, and these counties are big and wide, and hopefully we can get some funding and maybe establish more public Wi-Fi hotspots. So I think that's all I was going to talk about. We could really use help with word of mouth. Like I said, a lot of people are delighted and surprised that this is available, but it is available, and we want everybody to know. If you can let anybody who has the smallest or the biggest problem know that we'll really help them. I don't know how to do everything, but I am a person that they can come to and engage to help if I can. We are going to, I'm available by appointment in addition to the scheduled times. They can call the regional office anytime. If you have any kind of expertise and patience, you know, and you want to volunteer, I'll take volunteers. I'd love to get kind of a volunteer pool in rotation to do some of these tech tries so we can have more of them more often, and then maybe I can do all of them. And it's actually really great. It feels really good. People are really happy when these problems get solved because they are so irritating. And it's not just irritating, it's a barrier to the financial and educational and employment opportunities, in addition to just the networks not working. Like, all of these things are irritating. Some of them are really crucial. All of these things are just exacerbated problems that already exist and divisions that we already have. People who need opportunities the most are having some of the hardest times taking advantage of them because of connectivity. So, try to do what we can.
I know who I'm calling next time my cell phone messes now have you got a slide presentation?
No.
Okay.
But I'm going to show a couple of things.
Okay, so we're going now to our director's report, please.
And I just want to say I will be rather brief, just because at the annual meeting, it's about hearing from our librarians at the branches and the services we provide from the regional library office. And it's just so wonderful to hear from everybody, how they work together, how they have different programs, how you can see their vast experience and education, as well as just what they do day to day isn't necessarily covered in the highlights, if that makes sense. I also want to speak just a little bit about Joy Hollingsworth, so just to put her on the spot, because she does work part-time as an assistant at the regional office, as well as at Avery Morrison Library, but most of the flyers you see out, a lot of them are Joy's, if not all of them. So she has been incredible for us, and also as a contact for the Carolina Mountains Literary Festival, which is our festival that the Amy Regional Library System sponsors. So she has one of those attitudes, if you've ever met people where it's like every day they are bright sunshine, That is her. She lives up to her namesake. So even though she doesn't have a presentation, I just wanted to talk about Billy Herman. So let's see, I just need the agenda and a couple of documents. It's so funny, it's like, how do I give a report about this past year?
Good luck with that.
So, but really the way I want to start is by stating that we are in a position as Amy Regional Library as being in the best financial shape we could possibly be in to provide services to a region, meaning Avery, Mitchell, Yancey, and Spruce Pine. So to have that backbone and to be set up that well is such a wonderful thing for us, and I'm very excited about it. What I did want to tell you is from a state perspective. So I know we've been looking at the past year. I'm going to show you something to look at what's ahead. So what you will see me working on over the next couple of weeks here we go. So this is just to give you some perspective about what happens when you apply for state aid. This is also relevant conversation because it's also what Yancey County would have to do if they were applying for state aid. So approaching deadlines for us, this is a very busy time of year in fall. So IMLS, which is what we use Evergreen. Cardinal is a system where we share books. Evergreen is what we use as far as our ILS. So IMLS, which is where we receive our grants, they're collecting data on the public library survey. I have to fill out the public survey by September 16th, as well as apply for state aid. Whenever Natasha showed statistics, the libraries themselves, each branch, they use statistics throughout, and they return those to me at the end of every month. So at the end of the year, we have to provide statistics in order to apply for state aid. It's part of our responsibility. Can you make that a little bigger? Yeah, of course. Yes. So September 1st, that's the rolling deadline. Something you heard from a lot of folks tonight is that we attend conferences based on scholarships sometimes. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have that funding in the regional state aid where we can send someone somewhere or reimburse someone for attending a conference. But September 1st is the next rolling deadline for the continuing education scholarship grants. It means, let's say, if we were to lose funding or we didn't have as much funding, there's still resources from the state that we can take advantage of to be able to have a scholarship to attend the conference. So September 9th, that's the last day to respond to the State Library's strategic plan survey. The State Library is creating a new strategic plan, which public libraries, we have to do that every 5 years. We have a strategic plan as well. If anyone would ever like to see it, you are welcome to. It is a living document. It sits right on my desk. So September 13th, that's the last day to participate in the Collaborative Summer Learning Program Survey. So all of the statistics that Natasha has from summer reading, those go into that survey. And then September 16th is the deadline for submitting our state aid packet and PLS annual statistical report data. And a lot of that is done by the director. When I had a full-time assistant, they did that together. But here's the silver lining is that because we have Cardinal, a lot of that statistic information is shared within Cardinal. When I tell you all the work involved in us transitioning from the Library Corporation to Cardinal, we went from paying $26,000 a year spread out among the libraries in the regional system to now paying, $6,000, a little bit more or less. So that was a huge transition for us, but it was one of those things where it's like, oh, we can't not do that. I mean, we have Evergreen, which is our system to catalog and circulate items, and we have access to all of these materials across the whole state of North Carolina. So it's a great system. It's a no-brainer, but it takes people behind it to do the work. We have Meredith Hayes, which you met earlier. She is at Avery Morrison Library. Her other piece of her job is she is our head cataloger. So Meredith has a master's degree in library science and has cataloging expertise, and so she helps us with that. I'm just showing you that staff in all of our region do multiple things. So we also have Meredith. We have Jamie, who does so much as far as resource sharing with Cardinal. So without you, I don't, how do we move the books? How do we, I tried to do it once and messed up the whole system. What is wrong with FedEx? It's not me. So, just those are the pieces. Whenever I do the statistical report, that is with Amanda Johnson with the State Library, and she's a great resource too. October 15th is the quarterly report that will be due on the non-recurring funds. Hopefully by then we'll also know we have additional funds, which is great. So just so you know, that non-recurring funding, I don't just keep track of it, I actually have to do a quarterly report. So they don't just give you the money and then go, it's great, you have fun. So there's also reports involved with that as well. So looking ahead, the State Aid Formula Review Committee, of which I was a member, we began this formula review because we believed that we needed more funding for regional library systems, and that work started 3 or 4 years ago. So I am no longer on that committee because time does not allow for it. It was time for me to rotate off, but they're still looking at that formula. Basically what that means is that county and towns, they don't get as much financial support from state aid as regional library systems. So whenever you have an increase in state aid, you'll have other libraries who say, well, it's not really fair. Maybe we should look at the formula and see if we're all getting what we should get. But the intent of regional aid, state aid, was to support regional libraries. It is the history of it. You can read about the history online. It's written into state code. It is why they created it. So just explaining how state aid works and the Formula Review Committee, which I'm keeping an eye on too. And then you have the Public Library Association. They're launching its annual topical survey, lots of surveys, focused on library staff. And then the LSTA grant opportunities will be announced in mid-September, which I am applying for an LSTA grant because it has been 2 years for me. But it's also a little bit of a conundrum because I am one of 12 directors who serve on the LSTA grant committee. So that means that when grants come through the state, I am one of those members who review those grants. So of course I wouldn't be a part of the process of reviewing my own, but just letting you know that I also serve on that committee. So everyone is talking about consultants right now and consulting services, so the state library is talking about that as well. We're still hearing that there may be some possibilities for the federal government to open up IMLS to do capital projects at libraries. I say that because we have 2 library locations right now, Avery Morrison included, where we want to do some major overhaul work inside the interior of the library, as well as the Bakersville Library. So there are some bigger capital projects we want to improve upon. So that's looking forward after we looked back on this tremendous year where, yes, there's been heartache and there's been some difficulty, but as far as the people I work with and the board that supports us and the community behind us, I mean, why wouldn't you do this work? I mean, it's the most valuable thing. So I guess that's what I want to end my report on, is just feeling like we are valued in the community, that the public library is supported, that so many of you use the library, so many kids came to summer reading. We have this whole other digital inclusion grant where we are able to finally move forward in a way of providing skills, digital literacy, and also equipment. I mean, heck, we may be able to pay for some folks' internet. So if that is where we're moving in that, I just feel like we're making such strides in the regional system. So that feels very positive, and that's really all I want to say about that report is how positive I feel about how we're moving forward.
Thank you, Amber. We will continue on with our agenda that's voted upon now. And next thing on the agenda is committee reports. There is none stated, so we will go on through that. Next is correspondence, and you have a handout for board members.
I do not actually, that was carried over from the last meeting incidentally, so we do not have a handout for board members.
Okay, that takes care of correspondence. Any questions on the board? The next is unfinished business. Request for a review edit.
Okay, so what I'm gonna show you, board members, is that those policies that we passed in May, there is one that we need to edit. There's actually two, because we made the amendment to the agenda to edit the other. So, let me pull that up for you really quick. And I think you have the policies in your packet, don't you?
Yeah.
Yay! Good job. All right. So first we're looking at not the social media policy, but the request for review. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. So everyone remember when we had a meeting in May, we made a new request for review instead of the reconsideration form that we had previously. One of the things we talked about is about making sure it matches with our current policies, meaning what it takes to get a library card. So it has to match, and this does not match. And we discussed it a little bit. So what I need to change is county of residence. Let me find my note. We like to do a forward slash here, do county of residence, and then where you reside. And then this second page, we allow folks who rent or own property to have a library card. So the small change we have to make, which we mentioned at the meeting in May, is that here where it says the individual must be a resident-owned property, that is incorrect. We will be marking out owned property, and they just need to be a resident. So that means they can rent, they can own, they just need to live in Yancey, Mitchell, or Ada counties. So those are the changes I would like to make to the existing request for review of library resources, so that it matches our library card, how to apply for a library card.
Discussion from the board. Question,
What we have here is the original thing, not.
Yes, you don't have to change them, yeah. So we're just gonna take out on the second page, own property, and then on that first page, county of residence forward slash where you reside. That may not be necessary, but I'm just trying to make it clear it's where you live. What do you think?
any more discussion or questions?
Makes sense to you? All right.
It corrects the issues we saw last time.
Yes, I agree.
I would entertain a motion that we amend this edit to the minute where it fits our policies. Is that correct?
So moved.
We have a so moved. You got a second? Any more discussion? If not, I will ask for approval by ayes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So be it. Then we have that changed out. That was request review edit. We added,
Yes.
under unfinished business, our amended agenda to edit the social media guidelines.
Yes, that's right. So if you look at the social media policy, and I've pulled it up here, and I will, there we go. So according to our attorney, we need to edit this policy to state that board members cannot disparage, use harassing speech, or defamation on their own personal Facebook pages. So the attorney has suggested that. So we have to change this to where board members cannot do that.
Where would you do that?
I don't know where it would be now.
Would
Where do you think would be the best place? Third-party post states that the library is not responsible for the content posts made by third parties. The issue is if you have a board member, which is disparaging the library, board members, or library staff.
Why not, so we have third-party posts.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, the library is not responsible. The next line, library reserves the right to delete those posts and complaints, and negative comments. And then I guess you could add board members just under that.
I would think that you
New
could.
section.
Well, it doesn't, I don't know that we're beating around the bush, that make any difference where we can
Right.
insert it in here. But does the board feel this needs to be inserted, I think, in that place?
Yes, yes. I agree with that.
I mean, it's, Amber has some, I don't know whether you've got them to show,
I will show. Would you like to see an example of a board?
This is what we're, and there has been, and I'm the one to say this.
And please do be quiet in the audience when I show this, and I have removed names.
Yes, I don't know what she's got going on me, but I've been disparaged on, and the whole thing was false, but, and to the point where you just see a lawyer about a citizen deceased, deceased. We need this, and we just need to get the wording in, and we just place it in the paragraph 5-7.
Oh yeah, there's definitely big lines there.
Yes.
I know that there's no stair.
No, Luther is not the chair of the Democratic
I
Party.
don't know, it's, people can't see it.
He's a nice. Would you like me to read it for you?
Yes, please.
Well, let me, Amber, because if I can pronounce the words, if there's not any 3 and 4 syllable words, it would be good. The Director Amber Briggs has been filing out Yancey County Library with grooming books for children this past year. And we, as board members and county commissioners, cannot do anything about it. In other words, Yancey County tax money is going into a library where they have no say about the library. Amber Briggs, as the director, has no boss and can spend the money any way she wants to. She has spread all these lies about how Yancey County cannot make it on its own because she was getting ready to lose her job.
This is a board member.
Yeah, it's a rather unprofessional.
So it also has a second part, but I'm only doing this to show you, and I've also removed the name, but I just need to explain to you that it is our attorney's belief that this has to be written in our social media policy. Otherwise, it's a violation of board responsibility. So, anyway, just showing you some examples.
That we, one more time, that we add that board members may not make disparaging remarks.
Yes, disparaging remarks or defamation, hateful or harassing speech. Yes,
Coming from, a county commissioner perspective, I would ask that we ask the council to word that in a way that's more fitting, because,
I agree.
in case that were to come up in meeting later
Yes.
on.
That's what I'll do.
Does that make sense?
It does, it makes perfect sense. So then that's
Rather
what.
than us deciding where to put it or how to word it, let's let council decide that.
Okay.
Because they're the ones gonna be using the policy if they're doing it.
Yes. So if we could, we need to have a motion to ask council for his advisement on how to word that within the social media policy.
Couldn't have said it better myself, but, I would entertain a motion.
I'll put that in form of a motion.
Okay, go ahead. We're listening to the motion. The motion is that the council provide the board with, proper wording and placement of articles of disparagement on board members in our social media policy.
Well, Roman Briggs.
Did you get that down right?
Yeah, word for word.
And I'm thinking that Clayton has made a motion.
Yes, sir.
I need a second. You got a second? Who made this? Who made the second? Josh, I thought it was, but I wasn't sure, just want to make sure. All in favor, aye again, if that suits the board. Motion forward. Any against?
Should we make a motion to approve the social media policy after revising it for council? And that way it's already in place and it doesn't have to wait until we can get back together again and have it on.
I'll make a motion that we.
Just real quick for the minutes.
Social media.
Sorry, I'm just,
Yeah, but for the minutes, right quick. Sure. We did vote to have the lawyer write this clause. That has happened, correct?
Yes.
There were no names? Correct. Okay, thank you. No, sorry, just making sure.
So then my question was, should we make another motion to approve the social media policy based on council revision?
I'll make a motion, we approve the, social media policy based on, council revision, and that be put in place.
Second. I would just like to amend that a little bit, might be, just to give us more cover, but not just the council, but it be reviewed by our director and chairman of the board, and that gives you kind of a chain of command.
Sure.
I mean, I'm probably gonna get myself in trouble. And I think we need to be transparent, and we don't need, I want to say, somebody coming in and say, well, Laurie just stuck that in there without the board's approval or approving it, but the board will have oversight on it. Does that make it enough?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'll amend my motion to include a review by our director and our council.
Okay, we got Steve Rowland making that motion, Josh seconded. I will ask all in favor by voice vote of aye. Aye. And I also like to reflect, any nays, I would like also to reflect in the minutes that this was unanimous also.
It is.
Luther, I have one comment concerning that, and I think, you know this, but maybe one here does not necessarily know it. One thing we agree to do when we come into, to the library board, the regional library board, as board members, is we are here, to find the best way to support the library for the people of our community. Now, that means we may not always agree with everything that's done, but we find consensus and we work to provide the services that the library is here to provide. And when someone goes off and does things that tears down the library. Those things need to be discussed within the context of the board meeting. If they have concerns, discuss them there, share those within that board meeting. But within the social media, there's no context for any comments that are made, so it's not a good place, and it does not uphold your commitment as a board member to help the library move forward and provide the services it's committed to provide.
I would ask just to open any other question. If you have any, just raise your hand. Okay, I do, and I appreciate that, and I have said very, on a couple of occasions, that this board was not in any way, shape, form, or fashion need to be the least bit political or the least bit religious, which is hurt. Some might not agree with that, but this is a library board, and it is a community library board that serves all people, for all, I don't know how to say it, I'm the old school, all people, all genders, all factions of the community. We cannot, and so we need to be open about it and thoughtful about it and inclusive. We're inclusive. So with that, I'll keep my mouth shut, and we will go on. Is that all we have on unfinished business? Anyone needs to? It's all that's on the agenda. The next thing is new business, please. And I will turn it back to our director.
So new business is, I've just written a short note, withdrawal of Yancey County Public Library. And if those of you are expecting to have new information or something very vital to that conversation, tonight is not the night for that. So what I wanted to tell you is this. We now have legal counsel. So legal counsel suggestion is that we will meet at a later date with the regional board and Yancey board together with legal counsel present. So that is how we intend to move forward and the steps involved in that. So that is really all I can share with you. The only thing I want to make clear is one specific thing that I don't know has necessarily been out as much or talked a lot enough, which is about block grants. I'm not sure if everyone understands block grants, and it took me a really long time too, and I'm not going to give you the whole breakdown of the equation of population and economics, but I will say that information is out there. But as a regional system, we receive 3 block grants for each county. So Avery, Mitchell, Yancey. Because we are a regional system, we also receive an additional block grant. So what that means is it's almost like this reward, because we pool resources together to say you receive this additional block because you need the funding for lower economic areas, for lower population. If Yancey withdraws, they lose access to that additional block. So I just want to make certain that I'm very clear that when information is shared that you will not lose something, that you will indeed lose access to that additional block grant. And by withdrawing, the regional system will lose some of our funds as a regional library system. Will that affect Avery, Mitchell, and Spruce Pine? Yes. But am I prepared to have a budget in place that I can adjust if I have to and still keep the services we have with the grants that I write? I'm confident in saying that I can do that. Do I want to do that? Absolutely not. Would it be foolish to do that? I will say that it will be foolish based on the budget that I just presented. So that's really it, okay? So hopefully we'll see you at a later date. It will be a public meeting with the regional board and the local board, and you can expect to hear that announced. Okay?
There will be no announcement of it tonight, no timetable set tonight.
No timetable set tonight.
Okay, y'all know as much as I do. Any questions from the board members?
Yes.
This is a board meeting, and the board needs to, any other comment? Next on our agenda is board requirement.
So I'm just letting you know that I couldn't find one tonight, which it's a failure of mine. I made a mistake. But every year when our regional board, and we have regional board members, they have to sign an ethics statement as well as a conflict of interest statement. So you'll all be getting that in your emails. And the conflict of interest just states if you have a known conflict of interest and it has yes or no. It's classic what you would receive with anything else. And then the ethics statement was something that the state library suggested we implement last year. We did have some board members that did not sign it. I will be resending it again because we do have to have an ethics statement on file. Okay? So I just want to cover that. And that's it.
And those ethics and what was the other one?
Conflict of interest.
Conflict, they are strictly, basically boilerplate. Anywhere, there's nothing in there specific on anything other than just to keep our library in. Any questions on that from the board? Board members are to be here. Hate that we don't have a full board tonight, but that's not of my choosing. Now comes that time you all have been waiting. If there is anything else from the board, there's nothing else from the board. We do now open it to our audience, and we had 6 people sign up to speak, and we will limit it to 3 minutes. And I'm going to add that it not be, we don't use people or point fingers. We just want your comment about the regional system. So the first one on the list is Angela Norris. And she is where people can hear you. And please state your name and speak. You need to speak to the board. Let's see. And the board will not address any questions or answers. We will take notes, so that we may hear you. Please, ma'am.
Okay, I'm Angela Norris. I live in Yankton County. I'm glad that you mentioned that the library should not be political or religious. My concern about what has transpired in Yancey County Library in the past few years has been, it has moved from a neutral space, a non-political space, to a space where we can have politics and activism. On your Facebook page, Yancey County Library Facebook page, in 2021, Memorial Day was announced once, Independence Day once, Veterans Day twice. Anything about Pride, LGBTQ, whatever it is now, 0. Banned books, 0. Hispanic Heritage Month, 0. Black History Month, 0. Asian American Pacific Islander Month, 0. Native American History Heritage Month, 0. 2022, Memorial Day once, Independence Day 6, Veterans Day 1, Pride LGBTQ issues 16, banned books 16, Hispanic Heritage Month 14, Black History Month 1, Asian American Pacific Islander Month 0, Women's History Month 22, Native American Heritage Month 9. In 2023, Memorial Day 1, Independence Day 0, maybe 1, I may have missed it, Veterans Day 3, Pride LGBTQ 1, Banned Books 17, Hispanic Heritage Month 3, Black History Month 10, Asian American Pacific Islander Month 19, Women's History Month 8, Native American Heritage Month 5. 2024 Memorial Day was mentioned once, Independence Day twice, Pride LGBTQ 0, Banned Books I don't think has come up yet, September, so I would say 0, but I'm not sure if it's come up yet. Hispanic Heritage Month 0, Black History Month 7, Asian American Pacific Islander Month 2, Women's History Month 7. So, in keeping it not political and not a space of activism, what happened in 2022 and 2023 where it became a clear space for activism and political agenda? That's been my concern the whole time. I have nothing against anybody. All these issues are important, but when you're in Yancey County, and Amber grew up here, and all of y'all I'm sure are, most of you are from here, if you are in a majorly conservative space, sorry, this fly is driving me crazy. Major conservative space, a lot of Christians, and you have nothing in 2021 about any of those issues, and then you punch people in the face.
Time is over a minute up now.
Maybe it should have been a slower process, and when you punch people in the face, you might get punched back. And I think that's what's happened.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I do appreciate everybody's hard work.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
Next is Nicole Roberts.
Let's go, baby.
Angela, before you leave, I just wanted to thank you for what you said and for keeping it kind.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Text
I
me
appreciate it.
anytime.
Sure, I will. So I'm Nicole. I live over in Spruce Pine, in case anybody didn't know that. I live in Spruce Pine, I'm not living in Coyote, just so it's clear publicly as many times as it can possibly be. We've all been here for a real long time, so I'm going to try to make my brain work properly. Mainly, I just wanted to say all of those presentations were incredible. Thank you, all of the library staff, for everything that you do. And it was really moving and beautiful to get to see all of you together and to see the whole region together. And what many people, myself included in Mitchell, as well as many people that I'm closely connected with in Yancey and others that I know in Avery, want to see Amy stay together for the betterment of everybody, so that everybody gets a chance to have all of these amazing things that everybody presented about and spoke about today. The other thing I want to make sure I say before I run out of time is just that I was quoted in the Carolina Public Press article, and I just wanted to add context to what I said. So it is written that I said some of the people on the board don't support the library, but that's not actually what I meant. I think that there are people who I personally disagree with what they call supporting the library compared to what I call supporting the library, but I have always maintained, and I just want to make it clear that I continue to maintain, that I think the people who, unfortunately, they're not here in person, I hoped that they would be so they could hear it straight from my mouth, that I don't think that they're here to not support the library, even if we disagree about what that looks like. And that I hope everyone can come together and compromise and work as a unit, as this amazing system has for over 60 years. And it seems very possible, and I hope that it continues on that way. And thank you, everyone, for all of your hard work. And thank you to all the people from Yancey County who drove, because it was 40 minutes for me from Spruce Pine, and I know somebody who, it was over an hour just to get here to be in this meeting. And I think that really goes to show that there is a segment of Yancey County that's not being represented by the 3 board members who did not attend this meeting today, and yet several community members who have no responsibility to this board came to show their support for everybody in this room right now. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Jackie Mass.
It's Jackie Mass, and I wouldn't mind, except I married a priest, so we don't use that as pronunciation. You know, walking away. All right, good evening. Serving on a nonprofit or public committee board is both a privilege and a responsibility. It can also be a time-consuming and sometimes thankless task. So the first thing I want to do is thank you for your service. May I say that I had a beautifully written page, very beautifully written, about the responsibilities of library board members, but since the Yancey County members have opted not to attend this evening, there's no point in me reading that page, and they will not hear my heartfelt plea that they step down if they cannot, in good faith, advocate for our wonderful library. I also had to make a lot of corrections on this page, so forgive me if I stumble. I want to address the accusations of groomer and pedophile that have been tossed so recklessly in this community. First, unless the accusers are board-certified psychiatrists or psychologists, they have no business making an ad hoc DSM-5 diagnosis of pedophilia, which is a specific mental health condition, period. I'll get to groomers in a minute. I want to say that I've spent my entire professional life working with children who have been horrifically, physically, emotionally, or sexually abused, but I have gone ahead and updated my research because I've been retired for a while now. Parents make up the vast majority of child physical, emotional, or sexual abuse offenders. Over 80% of those convicted are the parents of those children. The remaining almost 20% is made up mostly of parental partners, family relatives, foster parents, and guardians. Focusing specifically on child sexual abuse offenders, about 30% are family members, such as fathers, stepfathers, and older siblings.
1 minute.
The remaining 60% are family acquaintances, such as neighbors, babysitters, coaches, clergy, and others in positions of trust. No offense to anyone in this room, but it is a fact that most child sexual abuse offenders are white, heterosexual men. 99% of child pornography offenders are men, mostly heterosexual. The label groomer was first used against the LGBT community in March 2022 by Christina Pushaw, press secretary to Ron DeSantis. It is a false accusation with no basis in reality. No factual basis, anecdotal, criminal, research data supports the idea that LGBT people groom. There is much factual evidence that it is a tool, a political tool, used by the far right to spew hatred and divisiveness. We should put a stop to it here.
Landon Beaver. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes. I am Landon Beaver. I live in Yancey County, but I work in Mitchell County and go to the Spruce Pond Library quite a bit with Montessori kids this summer. My son goes there. And Jackie, I am a licensed mental health therapist, and I totally agree with you. And these are some of the finest people that I have the pleasure of knowing, and a lot that I don't. So, thank you all. The board members that aren't here don't represent Yancey County. These people do, so I think that that speaks for itself that these people drove up from Yancey County. So thank you to everyone, especially, so like I said, lots of Spruce Pond Library time, summer programming. I was in that room with Sonia and Alex from Reading Is Alive. It was happening there, it was an awesome event. And then probably the most used service for Yancey County Library this past year was getting Wayne to notarize, I don't know, like 5 or 6 documents. So thank you. Yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you to somebody that lives in Yancey County. I thank you for everybody that's actually present on the regional boards. Yeah.
Jeannie Bull. Right clear next time. No, excuse me.
Jenny Boyd Ball. So, I have participated in both of the walks from the Yancey County Library to the Yancey County Commission meetings. And I've carried a sign that says, "Libraries build community. We love Amy Regional." And I just want to thank you all for such a beautiful demonstration of how each of you in your branches and as a region build community for all of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just want to say that I'm a retired librarian. I worked for many years in Baltimore County Public Libraries. And I'm also a retired pastor in the LGBTQ community, so I know a lot about, we're not going to talk about religion, but I know a lot about telling people God loves them anyway. So, what I wanted to say is that when I moved here 9 years ago, one of the first things I did is went to the Yancey County Library and got myself a library card and joined the book group. And I'm what Wayne just called the state book group.
No insulted?
But I've been really enjoying reading the books by the authors that are coming to the Carolina Mountains Literary Festival next weekend, and I really appreciate all the ways that the library is supporting that festival. All of the workshops are held in the community room at the library. Wayne is doing all sorts of amazing volunteer work, getting people organized to, like me, to give introductions. So, and I noticed that the keynote speaker, Angelina Marie, several of you had her firekeeper's daughter as your pictures in your presentation. I also want to thank the library for its art exhibit. I volunteer with my neighbors, and we're having a senior art show in September, and people are going to be, several of my friends and myself are including things that we have made in that exhibit.
1 minute.
1 minute. And I don't know if it was mentioned particularly, but that meeting room, I've heard several times today how much we are a safe space as a regional library. And I want to thank the Yancey Library Meeting Room for being a safe space for meetings by all sorts of different groups. Who say, well, we'll meet at the library. So I just want to thank you all. And I want to thank in particular Wayne and Brittany for all they give me. And so I really hope that as we continue to work, you from the legal angle and we from the community organizing angle, to do what we can to protect the Amy Wright Regional Library System.
Matt Willing. Willing?
That's right.
Got one.
I just want to preface this with a thank you to all of you. I'm really appreciating the thoughtful way that you're handling things ethically, and I feel like you have our backs, so appreciate it. This is going to be a little bit more Yancey-centric than I really expected it to be, because I really expected our board to be here, and I wanted to address some of the issues. So bear with me on that. I'm really disappointed that our board members were not present and did not seem to have the will to do the job that they worked so aggressively to take on, including actions that are against library policy. Nor do they display any respect for the body here tonight. Their concern for the safety and welfare of children they seem to be trying to protect does not seem to merit engaging with the regional body to express their concerns or in dialogue about how to resolve the issues that could result in the dissolution of our library. The Yancey citizens or the new commissioners suddenly find a problem all of a sudden? Or is this a pretext for something else? I'm going to use somebody's name. I'll just use their initials, although her name's in the public record now. S.H. was the woman who lit the fuse to this photo crisis. She was very useful in creating a pretext to gain control of a library asset. She was put on the board with no experience, no background, and really no love for the library. Now she's been let go because her usefulness is no longer necessary. It's shameful. As is the uncivil, threatening, and frankly dangerous treatment of the library staff and director. This is not about obscenity or protecting children. Of course, protecting children is an issue of concern. Everybody abhors victimizing children. I believe this is a power grab by the commissioners in our town. While this is not, of course, responsibility of the regional board, I do feel confident that you will all do your utmost with whatever sway you have with our present local government to have them understand the loss this would be to their constituents as well as the regional system itself and the financial hardship that would eventually, I feel, eventually cause us to lose our livelihood. I want to commend the board, staff, director, and volunteers to keep and improve the library system that would be the envy of any county that meets and sometimes exceeds the needs of the citizens of our counties. Those of us who care about this precious resource and the adults and children who have access to materials, staff, programs, classes, computers, etc.
Time. I hope I speak for the board. I appreciate everyone's concern. The ones who stand and make comments, pro or con, need to be commended. Thank you all. That's from the board. Like I said, we will not comment on anything other than I thank you all for your support. For the good of the order. Yay! This is final. This is next line before we say that magic word adjourn. You want to start with the good or end with the good?
I just want to do a shameless plug for the Carolina Mountains Literary Festival. So when we talk about the Carolina Mountains Literary Festival, you may just think Burnsville, North Carolina, but we are a regional festival. So we have an award-winning author. This is Pedro Martin, and this book is called Mexikid, and he's going into middle schools in Mitchell and Avery counties, as well as being at the Lit Fest on Friday. This is Itty Bitty Betty Blog by Constance Lombardo. And this is A Window by Lauren Page Conrad. And these books are fantastic, but they're going into elementary schools. We also have Cornbread and Tortillas, which is a musical group showcasing individuals from Kentucky and Mexico and I believe Puerto Rico. And they play together, and they will be at Avery High School and then also at Mitchell High School. So when you think Carolina Mountains Literary Festival, don't just think it's in Burnsville. We do outreach all over. We also have a fantastic author whose name is Matthew Vollmer visiting our senior centers in the area. So just wanted to do a plug for Lit Fest and come and see us. It's 2 days of free sessions, workshops. And as you can tell, I mean, we have several individuals in our libraries who work on this festival. And we provide a lot of the books to the schools. So not only do they get to see Pedro Martin, but our funds from grants support every kid going home with a book. And some are in Spanish.
Martin, if you could give us a good word for the board.
I think my takeaway from tonight is just how much everyone in this room loves our library and our communities and wants them to be better. You know, there's always room for improvement, and I really appreciate everyone's hard work. Our staff is out of this world. You all do so much, and everyone, I think, is beyond grateful for what you do to support all three of our communities, and I'm just in awe. So thank you.
Josh?
I'm obviously in Avery County, and so you get senator that's in your own county, and I wasn't aware of all was on my own library, and seeing everybody present, it's overwhelming for all y'all got going on. You're doing an incredible job, you're reaching a lot of people that need reaching, and you got the best director in the world. So, go.
North Carolina. 27 mailing addresses, and I'm only 38. Every town I've ever lived in, the library has always been a place to find a warm place or a cool place on a hot or cold day and a good book. But I gotta say, what we've got going on in Amy Regional beats anything I've ever seen across the state. So, great job to everybody that is helping us out, and the community members that come in and make it such an awesome experience for those of us who work with the library. So thank you to everybody.
Steve Rowland to my right.
Something a lot of people do not realize is First Lending Library in North America was started by Benjamin Franklin. Franklin saw free press as the best defense against free press, which is dissemination of information, which is the main purpose of the library, the best defense against tyranny. And that is something we want to continue. It was important to our founding fathers, and it's important to us today.
Close us out, Clayton.
I guess that's my turn, isn't it? So, a lot of great things have been spoken of. Something that I neglected to say when I started and I kept listening is, been in education, this is my 19th year, and it's so awesome to see so many activities and things taking place within our libraries for our kids. The kids have been a huge part of, my life from the very beginning. And seeing all the smiles on people's faces, and it really means a lot that we have so many people that are dedicated to volunteering or, spending their day in the library with kids. And it's just awesome to see. And I can't say thank you enough to all of the staff. I also can't say thank you enough to each individual who, come up here and have spent the last 4 hours, with us. And so, that means a lot as well. And just being an educator, watching the community as a whole be able to grow and to learn is so special. And so, I'm just excited to be a part of it. Thank you.
I will simply say thank you to the staff, thank you all for your participation, and I will entertain a motion, Josh. Thank you. Be safe driving home, please. It has become dark, and it is Labor Day, so be careful. Thank you. You're welcome.